Good evening, everyone. We'll now call this meeting 7:01. I'll now ask for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll now ask for a moment of silence for prisoners of war and those that are missing in action. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for attending. If I could just ask council members and residents, if you can please put your phone on silent, just to minimize the noise in the crowd when various people have the floor. Secretary Billups, can I have a roll call, please?
Secretary Billups is here. Councilor Minnick, I believe, is on Zoom.
Councilor Minnick, are you on Zoom?
We'll come back to him. Councilor Wagner? Here. President Tunis?
Here.
Councilor Banto, I think, is running late.
Councilor Minnick is here.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, geez, what's happening?
Councilor Minnick, if you could just please mute. And hi, Miss.
I don't know. Yeah. Councilor Brandis? Here. Councilor Andrusco?
Here.
Councilor Wentz? Here. Councilor Silver, I believe, is probably is on his way, and Councilor Blackwell, I believe she's on her way as well. And of course, we have our Honorable Mayor Ed Brown. We have Acting CAO Rita LaRue. We have Solicitor Jim Gallagher. We have our Chief Municipal Clerk Kate Doggett, and we have, officers. Who's back there? Coella, I'm sorry, and Bateman, and of course Radar, and of course all of you, the residents of Upper Darby. How you guys doing tonight? Good, good.
Good. Thank you, Secretary Billups. I'll just ask council members. We have more than 10 speakers. If it's okay, if we can have every speaker speak.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. With that being said, I'm just going to go over the rules of meeting decorum. Upper Darby residents have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Residents are prohibited from making threats, using profanity, or acting in a manner that would impede or prevent the conduct of the business of the meeting. Any person who attends the meeting and makes remarks, disrupts, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting after receiving a verbal warning may be required to leave the meeting at the discretion of the council president. Public forum shall not exceed 30 minutes. If a resident chooses to ask questions, they are voluntarily giving up their time for a response. This means that the 3-minute timer will continue to run no matter who is speaking. The timer will be clearly displayed on the screen to my left. Just for the general public, we do have a lot of speakers here for a specific cause. We're going to let everyone speak and get their 3 minutes on the floor. And if there's a response from the administration, it will be at the duration of everyone speaking. Okay? Secretary Billups, you can begin.
First, we have Shelley Hoyt.
Okay, I'm short. Okay, is this on? Okay. First of all, I wanted to thank Upper Darby Fire Department and Laura Wentz for letting me know about this. We had the fire department out this week putting in smoke alarms for us. So thank you for letting us know that. That said, I'm going to read something from Tina Hamilton, May 5th, 2023. So this was allowed at the township meeting on Wednesday night. This is the decorum in our township meetings. And this is brought to us by the so-called constable that cannot perform his duties. He is not certified, but somehow he still holds a seat as constable. First, he hangs signs on the side of his vehicle during the press release of Burke running for mayor. Then he has the nerve, as he feels his first speech rights, and brings them to a township council meeting. This is so disturbing. And so-called constable, vote these hateful people out. This is disturbing. We have decorum statements if this is allowed. Besides the fact that this is false, it shouldn't be allowed in a chamber that is supposed to represent the township. You get what you paid for. And for Upper Darby Town Council wants to put this racist in the spot of the district council just for another puppet to vote the way they want. How is this legal? 5 people submitted their resumes. 3, maybe 4, are more than qualified for this position. The 5th one is the clown that the mayor wants to put in, as he is the puppet like the majority of them. 2 people did not get an interview from council. They got a tacky email from the clerk. Yes, this is personal for me on many levels, starting with the fact that all my babies were born in Upper Darby, raised in Upper Darby, went to school in Upper Darby, graduated Upper Darby. One of my kids was one of the 2 that this administration did not have the nads to call and say, thank you for applying, but thank you.
Thank you. Next is Robert, I'm sorry, I can't read your last name. DeLuca.
Good morning, members of the panel. Good evening, excuse me. I would ask for more than 3 minutes. I'm counsel for the Philadelphia Suburban Plumbing and
Sir,
Heating and Cooling
You're gonna have 3
Association.
minutes like every other speaker,
Well,
okay? That's just, that's the
Let me
rules.
finish. I'll put every member on if you like, but I was going to try to streamline this and
Okay.
only put a few members on rather than parade 20 people up here to indicate.
I have to
this
just,
you.
sir, you can pause this time and reset it to 3 minutes, sir. I just have to follow what's on the form. The people that filled in, I can call their name. If they want to give their time to you, they can do that. But if the folks that sign in, I have to give them the same 3 minutes.
Okay.
He has the floor, okay?
Then we will handle that. This is a complaint regarding code enforcement, and I'm going to hand up a packet. I'm first going to call Mr. McGraw. Upper Darby gave the plumbing test previously. They stopped doing that, and for 30 years, the Philadelphia Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Association, through their apprenticeship program, has been administering this test. Upper Darby has now taken the position that they will no longer accept the credentials from the Philadelphia Suburban Plumbing Association. What they are doing is they are accepting the Philadelphia test and they are accepting the New Jersey test, neither of which uses the International Plumbing Code. The Philadelphia Suburban Plumbing and Heating and Cooling Association has an apprenticeship program that is nationally recognized. They are certified and they use the International Plumbing and Heating Code. It makes no sense as to why Upper Darby now unilaterally decides they're no longer going to accept this. There are several questions that we want answered regarding this. Mr. McGraw, can you please come up here? I'm going to ask that you hand to the clerk the documents. Thank you. Mr. McGraw, come to the podium, please. Please state your name and give your credentials, if you would.
Sir, only one speaker can have the floor at a time. These are the rules.
Counsel.
I understand that, but I understand this, but we're not in court. This is our public comment where we let each speaker speak one at a time. This has been consistent with what we've been doing.
I'll speak for a minute and then he can come up.
Sir, okay.
So, this association is a state-recognized apprenticeship standard. It's nationally recognized. In order to get your apprenticeship license, you have to do 576 hours of classroom instruction, 8,000 hours of on-job training, registration with the federal system, and completion, you get a certificate regarding that. They go by the International Plumbing Code that is recognized by Upper Darby, not the Philadelphia exam, not the New Jersey test, not the ICC certification that is only a certification, not licensure. They have rigorous testing aligned with the township's code. And what the township is now doing is they're saying, well, we only accept the Philadelphia exam that has nothing to do with the International Plumbing Code or the New Jersey exam, or you can take an ICC exam to get a certificate, but not licensure. They have established precedent. They've been doing this for 30 years. All these people have gone through that program and have been certified and licensed plumbers that Upper Darby is not recognizing their licensure.
Sir, we have another speaker that's after you.
Okay, I'll call Mr. McGraw next.
Yeah, we're gonna call the speakers that are on the forum. All right, if any of them want to concede their time to you, they can do that. Okay.
Okay.
Secretary
Thank you.
Gloves, can you call the next speaker?
Mike McGraw.
Now, if Mr. McGraw wants
He
to,
just so happened to sign in next.
yeah, that's fine.
That's all.
If he wants to give you the time, he can do that. I just want to be consistent.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to plead our case here today. As Mr. DeLuca has explained, I'm just going to give a quick little history, and hopefully you all will get this pamphlet that has all our credentials in there, and hopefully you'll understand what a registered apprenticeship program is. Okay, our program is approved and registered with the United States Department of Labor, Pennsylvania Department of Labor, and everybody is properly trained. Secondly, we had a meeting after 2.5 months trying to meet with Mr. Singh, never returned our calls, never returned my emails, and they're in the packet as well. And we finally got a meeting because of at the time, Assistant Director Kim Burns. We sat down with him, and he was just not listening to us and telling us, or how do we prove that our test is a competent test and we could be selling licenses? When you come with that ID card, it was required by Upper Darby when they stopped using the facility to give the test. The Delaware County Municipalities Plumbing Council, formed in 1995, was the testing agency. And our program, that is the test that we use, solely based on the Pennsylvania State Code. As Mr. DeLuca referenced, Philadelphia has a totally different code than the 2000 International Code, which is the Pennsylvania State Code. New Jersey's exam is given on the National Standard Plumbing Code, not the International Plumbing Code. Why would Upper Darby accept a license from out of state from somebody that didn't even take an exam based on the code they're supposed to use? Right? It makes no sense at all to us. And after 30 years, all these people here that went through apprenticeship took our exams, a 3-part exam. It is 5 times more stringent than that ICC certification exam at Pearson View that they want to accept here now for credentials. And you'll see in there our certificate from the Pennsylvania Department of Labor. I am a member of the Pennsylvania Apprenticeship and Training Council in Harrisburg. I was appointed by the governor to sit on that council. Registered apprenticeship requires all the details that Mr. DeLuca explained, and they are in here, the requirements. How can you say that somebody's not experienced to do plumbing in this township, but you're going to allow somebody that can read a book, and this is Mr. Singh's exact words, if you can read a book, take that exam, pass it, you can get a master plumber's license in Upper Darby. His exact words from our meeting on March 13th. How can you allow your residents, allow somebody like that to do that work? Thank you.
Thank you. Next is. Thank you. Next is John McEwen.
Good evening, everybody. I am also part of the PHCC Training Center. I'm a contractor. Been there for a number of years. Mike is our director. I'm the assistant director of the program. I also teach at the program. Not sure how well versed you are on what apprenticeship is, but our students work full-time for master plumbers. Why they go to school 2 nights a week to learn the plumbing trade. Okay, by your code enforcement accepting ICC certification, let's not mix them words up. License and certification. Our students get a license. ICC gives a certification. I've taken the ICC test. It's nothing compared to what we give. Okay, so you are putting all your residents in jeopardy by handing this out to people that don't know what they're doing. You may say they do, but they don't. You see houses blow up all the time, right? Gas pipes, gas leaks. You got guys you're handing this stuff out to. They're not certified. How can you do that and say, oh yeah, no problem, here's your certification, but the guys that are trained, sorry, you guys can't do the work. Oh, if you're from Jersey, no problem, we'll give it to you. You don't even know our code, but we'll still give you our code. Don't worry about it. You can do whatever you want. Philadelphia, come on in. Even though you follow the Philly code, you can still teach, or actually do the work in the county. It's ridiculous. I took the test through Upper Darby years ago when I went through the program. It's just absurd that you would even allow this to be put. I mean, my opinion is he should lose his job. Okay? He's not qualified. You put somebody in a position that doesn't know what they're doing. How can you do that and sit there and be comfortable with that decision? Okay, why does he have that position? What is his certifications? Okay, where does that go? Do we have the answers to these questions, which I know you're not giving now, but would love to know what they are. Did he take his ICC certifications? Great. What's his background? How many years in plumbing did he do? Or what trade did he serve in? Did he do an apprenticeship program? That's what we're looking for. Is we have many members here who have been licensed in this township for years that are now being told, no, we're not giving license out anymore. Just doesn't work that way here. But if I have my Jersey license and I have my ICC license, so I can get a plumbing license in this township, no problem. But that's not fair to everybody else that served their apprenticeship to do the job correctly. And that's what you guys have to figure out, how you're going to handle that to make it correct. And the one answer is remove them. Hire somebody that knows what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is John Pizzari.
Good evening, John Bizzari. I want to address two resolutions on tonight's agenda. First, Resolution 6-25, reconsideration of CGBAG law as Township Solicitor. This was already voted down on March 19th, as you know, by a 6-4 margin. Councilors Banto and Billups, you both voted no, and I trust you'll stand by that decision on May 21st. If you changed your vote, and the very fact that this is up for reconsideration suggests you might, then I believe the residents deserve to hear why. What changed since March? Were promises made in exchange for a yes vote? Was free legal representation offered? Were there third-party payoffs on past due taxes? These are fair questions, and transparency demands answers. The residents of the township are watching and deserve clarity. Second, Resolution 12-25, appointment of 5th District Councilor. Let's be honest, the majority of this council already knew who you wanted to appoint before the public heard that Councilor Heyman was stepping down. You went through the motions, inviting applications and resumes, but only 5 residents applied and not all were interviewed. That's unacceptable. Every applicant should have had a chance to speak with you either individually or in a panel session. Anything less is not a real process, it's just theater. The individual you appear poised to appoint is Myron McNeely, elected constable in 2021. He's now in his 4th year of a 6-year term, but still hasn't passed the required state certification to perform his duties as of today. Here's the proof, 2 searches today. The Pennsylvania Commission of Crime and Delinquency provides this certification, which includes legal and firearms training necessary for judicial duties. Without it, he can't be paid to serve. So how is someone unqualified to fulfill the current elected role suddenly qualified to sit on this dais? Let's not forget, he has used public forums to attack counselors, calling them white supremacists and racists. He has not demonstrated the competence, professionalism, or readiness expected of a council member. This is not about politics, it's about standards. McNeely has failed to meet them. Appointing him would be a disservice to this community and a clear signal that this council and mayor values loyalty and rubber stamp votes over qualifications.
Thank you. Next, we have John Devlin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am a master plumber with the city of Philadelphia. I'm also the plumbing and mechanical inspector in Springfield Township, Delaware County. I've been in that position for 21 years. We accept this school their certification, their master plumbers program. I went through a similar program. From the age of 18, I grew up in Upper Darby. I was on my own. Went through a similar program, parallel. 4 years apprenticeship, journeyman, masters. It's enabled me to become what I am today. That's what we're asking. You're telling everybody you can no longer be in business. You can no longer make a living. That's what you're passing by not accepting this school. This school turns out qualified tradesmen. Okay, they're good people. They learn this trade. It's not easy. The ICC, I have 7 certifications from the ICC. It's nothing compared to what I went through to get my registered master plumber's license. Okay, so it's a disservice not only to your community but to these men that are in business. They're providing tax base. They're providing jobs for people. This is affecting absolute people. This is affecting their families. Okay, this is more than you realize. I don't know why you would do this. And can I ask you why you would not accept this after 20 years of accepting it? Can any of you answer that question?
So,
I'm serious.
sir,
I want to know why why this has even come up ahead to today.
so the conversation that the school's been having has been with the administration, and the administration will respond after all the speakers are done speaking. So no council member is the one that accepted or
Okay,
denied.
but you have the power to override and oversee that department, correct?
We don't oversee the department.
Well, you can set precedent.
We do not.
Let me answer.
You can hear from the mayor.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Your question is valid, and we're going to let everybody speak on the topic, and then administration I'll have an answer. Okay.
Okay, that's what we're asking, that you look at this subject and really realize what you're reflecting upon, that you're affecting people's lives and livelihoods. If I didn't go through that school, I wouldn't be here today. Okay, I wouldn't be the man I became. I wouldn't have everything I've had in life, and I've been fairly successful. And it's because I went through this program. Okay, and so without it, you're destroying people's lives. Okay, it's affecting families. So you have to think about what this is. Okay, the ICC test, I have 7 they're simple. They're open book tests. It's a simple certification. Anybody can take it and pass it. It's academia. Okay, this is a hands-on trade. You learn by doing. Okay, and you're producing good quality people through this school. I'm also the 3rd-year instructor. I teach plumbing code, I teach international fuel gas code, and I teach international mechanical code. And let me tell you, I had 50 students this year. Not even less than 20% of them got an A in my class. This is a tough class, so they're there to learn. Okay, we pour forth. That's it. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Next is, I'm so sorry. I can't read your last name. No, I can't read it at all.
Looks like possibly Robert.
Robert?
Robert?
Robert
Address says PITCC.
PACC.
Robert Smith.
Oh, okay, okay, there you.
This is obviously a great group of people here. I can't say much more. I can say that I am a registered master plumber in Delaware County and also a registered master plumber in the city of Philadelphia. This is a great program. I can get a license here. I do have a license here, but you need to listen to these people. These gentlemen put a lot of time and effort in and have very well-trained people. I'm not going to go on and on about myself or about the program. I really want to talk about what's going on here in the township. And what's happening is if you continue to turn away these type of people, these men and these people in the community, you're going to force people to work without the proper permits. They're going to come in here and we're going to work and we're not going to be registered in your eyes. Okay. That's not a good thing. And aren't you trying to create something here with these contractors with goodwill and bring them in? And when you do that, you leave a void. And I think everybody knows what happens in any community when there's a void. The bad people come into that void. These are the good guys. Just remember that.
Thank you. Next we have Ray Daly.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for allowing us to speak. My brief background, so that you know my credentials to start here, is I was a Director of Code Enforcement for Radnor Township for about 10 years. I hold 13 ICC certifications in building inspecting, and also I'm a certified plan reviewer, I'm a fire marshal, I'm a fire investigator. Right now, I retired from Radnor. Right now, I am currently employed in Ridley Township as their certified plans examiner, and I can also do, again, all the field certifications and inspections for that. My brief background. I have always supported the plumbers here. I have supported the school, and as someone who has hired building inspectors to come into Radnor Township and help out, it's always good to have hands-on experience as opposed to book knowledge. Again, ICC testing, which I don't always agree with, is something that is okay, but it's not, it doesn't beat the hands-on experience. It doesn't beat the apprenticeship, the journeyman, and then the masters. All that is in practical experience, hands-on. To be able to read a book and pass a test does not make you a plumber or any other in that field. And I admitted tonight, when this nonsense came about through ICC and you needed to have all the certifications, I actually took the master plumber's test from ICC, and I'm embarrassed to say I passed it because I am not a plumber. I'm not a plumber. I don't work with the tools. I can look at the book and do that. My background is in the building end of it, and then came back up through the other end for building inspector once my back and knees gave out. But we have always supported the Plumbers Association. It's a great thing they have. It's invaluable to have that training and hands-on experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Chastity Messer.
Hello. I am a local small business owner here in Delaware County. My master plumber's license was denied for a contractor's license here in Upper Darby. My husband graduated from the plumbing school last year and received his master plumber's license. My business, we do not service Philadelphia or New Jersey. We do not have any business there. But I am not able to do business here or receive a contracting license unless I get licensed there. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand that. I also have other workers that work for me that want to obtain their master plumber's license and their journeyman's license. Is it the advice of the council that I send them to New Jersey to go to school? That doesn't make any sense. The plumbing school is the only school that offers the apprenticeship for journeyman and for master plumber's license. So by not accepting that, you basically disqualify all of your residents who want to go to school here and who want to work here. It doesn't make any sense. Where else are they supposed to go? Are we supposed to send our money to New Jersey and pay tuition there and be licensed there? That really upsets me. I want my money to go to this community. I want my business to service this community. And it doesn't make any sense to me that you would accept an out-of-state license over someone who was licensed here. I also wanted to address Mr. Singh. I don't know who he is. I've been trying to get in touch with him since January of this year. I have sent emails, I've left voicemails, I've spoke to many people in the office who just tell me he's very busy. They advise me to say that this email is a priority when I send it to him in the subject line. That did not work. He still did not respond. I just think it's an issue. I think that the plumbers that come from New Jersey, they're coming here, they're servicing our residents, they're taking money from our communities and going right back over state lines, going right back into Philadelphia. This should stay within our small businesses here. I also haven't had any meetings with Mr. Singh, but I don't know what he's doing to resolve this issue. It doesn't seem like he's trying to work with anybody or to help people out to make it a non-issue or to make things easier for our residents. He's making it more difficult. I don't see a solution from him at all, nothing from him. I think it's a big issue in our community that a lot of residents of New Jersey and Philadelphia come in here and service our communities. And that I see it time and time again with my children, with teachers, with police officers. And now are we going to have all our tradesmen, our tradeswomen?
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Matt. Okay. All right. Next we have John DeMasi.
You know, last time I was at Pearson View, I took an anti-money laundering course. And had I known I could have just switched computers and become a plumber, I would have stayed. Mr. Brown, you've now seen the effects of your bad hires. You told us that Mr. Singh was worth the money. I think Mr. Jones, when he was sitting over there, Mr. Jones said, oh, he's worth the money. When I said, why are we paying someone $30,000 more a year than the person before? This is what we got for $30,000 additional dollars. We got attendance at meetings, finally. Thank you very much. Mr. Brown, you have made bad choice after bad choice. Case in point, this upcoming resolution for Mr. Clark. We've already been through this. This is maybe the worst hire you are ever about to make. Someone got a favor, someone got paid off. There is nothing that has changed in Mr. Clark's resume since the last time he was voted on. If he passes this time, we will find out what happened. Because as we all know, Miss Brannis, you were hired down in Collingdale where Mr. Clark is the solicitor. Now you say, well, that was not a conflict. It absolutely was improper for you not to disclose that and for him not to disclose that. It doesn't mean that that had any effect on your decision, but you should have disclosed it because the appearance of impropriety and a failure to address the appropriate process to disclose a conflict of interest is absolutely an ethical problem for you on that one. Mr. Clark also should be immediately eliminated for not disclosing the appearance of impartiality. You've seen the disaster that your hiring has caused. Mr. Jones happens to not be here right now because he makes $200,000 a year. Plus, if he has the full health plan, another $35,000 in benefits, maybe as low as $15,000, $16,000. Plus all the other benefits that he gets. You are spending this township into bankruptcy with your bad hires. These gentlemen and women that are here tonight, where have you been? We've been dying for people like you to show up and say, enough is enough from this crappy administration.
Thank you. Next we have Harry Kent.
Good evening, folks. Thanks for taking time to listen to me complain here. But a little bit of my background is that I've been a county licensed master plumber for 20 years. I've held the Philly master's license for 19 years. I just recently took the ICC certification a few months ago, again, just to see if I could pass it. No studying, no time, no nothing. Again, like everybody else said, that the codes that Philly follows and Jersey follows aren't the same as what we require in Pennsylvania. That being said, the ICC, if you can read a book, take a test, congratulations, you're a master plumber. That's just like going to the DMV to get your learner's permit. You could drive it, you could take a test, congratulations, you have your permit, doesn't mean you can operate a vehicle. All right? The other thing I have to say about that is for decades, we have a motto in the plumbing world, protect the health of the nation. All right? Well, a lot of these plumbers standing behind me with the county license, they protected the health of Upper Darby for decades, and now you're telling them that their license is no good.
They've taken care of the residents in this neighborhood. They always made sure they had clean drinking water and their sewage and waste went away like it was supposed to. That's all I got to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Joanne Namavad.
I am not a plumber, and I don't know much about plumbing, but I do know about reading E-code. And Mr. Singh does not have the authority to change what's in our E-code, okay? Our E-code specifies that we use the 2018 International Plumbing Code. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what you guys are using. I think that's what you are, but that, he can't just change it. He doesn't have the right. And then, you know, a few years back when Vince Frangione was here, I know we're not supposed to say his name, but I thought things were really bad. But things are much, 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 much worse when I look over there, okay? Because who usually sits there and who's used to sitting there now? Because anything that is said from that seat is just not true.
Thank you. Next is Becky Duggan.
Becky Duggan. I'm not a plumber either, if you can't tell. But I do appreciate you all. And I think it's very troubling that you want to put a lot of small businesses and our residents out of work. I think that's very troubling. I mean, are we trying to kill the township? I mean, why don't you just do what Wilson Good did and drop a bomb rather than doing these little small little hand grenades? I mean, come on. Then we'd need the firemen. And we'd also need more police officers. But I know I'm not supposed to say that because that makes everybody upset when I say that we need more police officers. So I want to address really quickly Resolution 1425. I know there's been a lot of talk from myself and other residents about mistakes that are in all the resolutions and the ordinances, and nobody proofreads anything. Well, if you go down to the paragraph where it says, let's see, talks about the matching. The whereas the Commonwealth Financing Authority makes available a grant for such needs with requirements of a 10% parentheses 15% funding match. Is it 10% or is it 15%? I mean, I don't understand. You put these things forward, you put them online, you don't read them? Does nobody read anything? I mean, were you just I bet you all would just would have passed it and not even read it. Because you don't deliberate, as Judy says, you just pass whatever gets put in front of you. Nobody thinks. Nobody thinks themselves. You all just do what your little puppet master tells you. Well, we're sick of the puppet master and we're not going to take it anymore. Everybody hear that? And while we're at it, the lovely presentation that Ms. LaRue gave about the $40,000, there was full of things that I found to be inconsistent with what actually happened, in my opinion. And I don't think that's going to die. You want that to die? You want that to die? I know you want that to die, Ms. LaRue, I know. But it's not going to die. Not dead yet. I'd like to see it back. Let's all think about that for a minute. What could that $40,000 have done? What do you want him to do? Ed, say it to everybody so we can all hear you. You're talking while I'm talking, so go ahead. Oh, you don't want the whole world to hear what you said to him about me? You don't want the whole world to hear what you said?
Next is Judy Duggan.
I wasn't going to get up because I'm not feeling well, but I had to. When John Vizari got up and spoke about he hopes that Michelle and David aren't going to change their votes for the new solicitor, and wondering, if you do, what did you get in quid pro quo for that? And when he said these things, I saw two people laugh at that. And one of them was David Banto, and one of them was Jess Branis. And you are the two people who have stolen money from my pocket. But by not paying your taxes, we do not get the full tax back from you. The township loses money because you don't pay your taxes. So you are stealing money from all of us when you do that. It's not funny. There's nothing funny about your financial shenanigans. That's first of all. So please don't laugh about that. Take it seriously. This solicitor is a bad choice. It's been pointed out to you by many people, and you should consider it. But, I guess, maybe it will, he can, with all the lawsuits that he'll bring up, and then we'll pay him a lot more money, and then he can take that money and give it to your campaign, and then you can continue to be the mayor. I don't know. Anyway, the next thing is, not to pile on, but I sent a message to Licenses and Inspection today, or yesterday, about a sign that's rotting. It's all, rusted, and it's old and serves no purpose anymore. And I sent it to Licenses and Inspection. I said, can you please get this sign taken down? And the message I got back, hello, we are not able to remove this. A sign company or the business would need to do so. Thank you. So if we have something in the township that is ugly and could be dangerous, who are we supposed to call? Because Licenses and Inspection says, we are not able to remove this. We are not able to do this. I don't know if it's on public property or private property, but even if it's on private property, I think you have a method, because you certainly were able to go after some of my friends. One of them had a grass that was a little too long. One of them had a tree that was overhanging the sidewalk a little bit. They had time to go do that, but you don't have time to take care of the things that the people in the township care about. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Stephanie Nodding.
Hello, council. It would be irresponsible of me to come up here and not examine the truth about the committees that Laura was on. Previously, she couldn't answer it, but the internet is wonderful, okay? So I did find that she was the chair of the Zoning and Building Code Committee, along with Lisa, Megan, and Andrew, okay? When I had been reporting her for years, over a decade, to code enforcement, trying to get her to clean up her yard and to be a responsible citizen. Now, I'm her next door neighbor, okay? Okay, I'm her next door, and this is not a Democrat, an independent, or a Republican issue. I am a taxpayer, a homeowner, okay? I've been here 32 years. I had my house for 28 years, okay? Her house is destroying the values, not only of my house, but the lady that's on the other side of her, okay? Corey, okay? Destroying her house, okay? And she sees it every day and she don't give a damn, okay? And another thing, she was also on the Government and Law Rules Procedure Committee, okay? So the internet is wonderful. I found it, okay? She was there. The thing, and her having the phone number of these people, when I reported her over and over again, one day I was sitting on my porch. I saw Brian, the code enforcement guy, drive down the street, give my neighbor a citation. Okay, I jumped off the porch. I was furious. Why are you giving him a citation and not her? Okay, he said, I'm gonna call him. You heard this, but I'm gonna give you more. You heard a little bit last time, but I'm gonna give you more. He pulled out his phone. Her name popped up. He said, I'm gonna call her. I said, okay, you gonna call her or you gonna call him to give it a citation to? He said, if I knew his number. I said, do you know my number? Do you got, he was like, it caught him off guard. So he said, okay, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna hide the truck. No, you ain't gotta hide the truck. because she know I'm pissed. So he went up there, he started taking pictures. So I started taking pictures, okay? He did not give her a citation like she claimed they give her citation. He did not. Now, since I gotta act crazy to get attention, okay? But he did not give her a citation. I was like, oh, so I came, got in my car. Oh, for years I wait. She's sick of this, but I've been sick of coming down here telling code enforcement for years, okay? So all the time I wasted gas coming down here for years reporting her, and Brian wasn't doing nothing. So what I did was I came to City Hall and I reported. I said, Brian, he did not give her a citation. Okay, so they were not giving citation. And I told, when the new director came in, I told him, Brian is not doing the job, and she is not doing the job that she been elected to do.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. If we could just keep it down in the audience when each speaker is speaking, just so people at home and here can hear them, okay?
Next is William Hamilton.
I'll give my time to Bob
Luca?
Thank you. We've heard from a number of the members, and I'm going to try not to rehash everything, but to stick to a couple points here. I explained to you what the credentials were in order to go to this plumbing school, the training that you have, the tests that you have to pass. What I would indicate to the township is you're opening yourself up to liability here, because what you have done is illegal and irrational. You have taken a organization that you have accepted for 20 years that exceeds the ICC certification, that they give an apprenticeship program, that they give a master plumber's license, and their tests exceed the ICC standards. And what you've done is you've said, we're no longer going to accept that unilaterally with no basis, no rationale, no sense of it whatsoever. And what you've said is, I will accept a Philadelphia license that does not use the international code that Upper Darby follows. I will accept a New Jersey license that does not use the code that Upper Darby follows. And I would indicate to you that if there is a situation here, I believe that this school would have standing to file an action against the township, but a resident would have standing to file an action against the township for the actions taken by your building inspector here. So I ask that this council look at the legality of what has been done here, that there's no rational basis for what's been done here. And I would ask that you ask that person to refrain from doing what he's doing, because he's harming the residents of Upper Darby by taking the actions that he's taken with no legitimate basis for doing so. I ask that you look at your own code under Chapter 265, contractors and licensing requirements. I ask that you look at Section 265-6 regarding licensing. And what we have here is we have the township accepting this license. In fact, what they did is they passed the baton off to the Plumbing Association to administer the test that they used to administer for master plumbers. And you have a new building inspector or licensing, coming in here saying, we're no longer going to accept that. What basis did he have to do that? Thank you.
Thank you. Next is John Brittis.
I don't think I need any more time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mark Schultz.
Upper Darby Council. I've never been here, and I've lived here for 40 years. I own a business here. My 4 children graduated from Upper Darby High School. They went to Stonehurst. I don't know what's going on with this council. If you guys are picking the people that are behind me, this gentleman back here who is denying the PHCC licensing, that is ridiculous. I think you also ought to look into that whole department. As far as the inspectors that are out there inspecting homes, I don't think anybody's educated enough to be doing it. Maybe you should look at us and maybe hire some of us as we're going into retirement, because we would do a better job than what is going on right now in this township. Right now, I currently live on Lansdowne Avenue, and our overhead streetlights have been out for 3 years. The entire block between Marshall and Garrett is dark at night. Why? You're going to have to tell me, because nobody's answering the phone. Electrical department, Public Works, the mayor's complaint line. Where do I go? I'm here tonight for PHCC. I'm past president. I'm currently the board chairman of this great organization that works very hard to train these kids to be master plumbers. They don't all become master plumbers. That's how hard it is. And if you look around, these folks are here tonight to let you know that they want to work here and they're licensed to do it. I don't know where you got that guy, but I don't want him in. I still got a minute. I want to let you guys think about that. I live here, and I've never been to a meeting. I never had to come here. And I'm here tonight because you're attacking what I like, which is the school. I do anything for school. It's volunteer. As president, it was a volunteer position. Nobody paid me to be there. Mr. Hamilton, who relinquished his time, is the current president of PHCC. He's a resident in Drexel Hill. Do you want us to leave? Do you want us to move out of this township? I lived at the 500 block of South 69th Street. I now live on the 300 block of North Lansdowne Avenue. Do you want me to leave? I also want you to look back at 7010 Clinton Road. 7010 Clinton Road, what I believe was a fire. Company came in, cleaned it all up. A company from Delaware came in, a plumbing company, and did the heating system. Well, I happened to be there for the manufacturer of the heating system to well, look into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Laura Wentz.
Hello, Laura Wentz. I just want to say, I want to thank all the plumbers, everyone from all the residents that are here tonight to talk about this important issue. It is unacceptable as a township for us to lower the level of credentials required for certification and licensing. I'm a union stagehand. We take trainings too. Our trainings are hands-on and book. You cannot learn the trade if you don't physically do it. You do not learn the trade by doing an open book test. Any major certifications, master carpenter, master electrician, all those trainings involve physically doing the job as part of the test, identifying the different objects, identifying the different things that you're dealing with in the day-to-day existence of that job. Book only, that is open book that you could have someone there with you because it's done online. There's no guarantee you don't have someone giving you the answers if you don't already know them. That type of certification is not high enough. It's not the high, it should not be used for Upper Darby Township. We have highly qualified plumbers behind us that have the proper licensing and has had it for years. They should not be denied a license here in Upper Darby. We should not be requiring certifications from New Jersey and Philadelphia if that's not what the code that we follow here in Upper Darby. And they've already explained, they are residents of our township. The other question is, have you asked
Senator John Kane, his opinion on this subject, because he too was a plumber. He too was a leader of Plumbers 690 for years before he became a senator. Was he consulted? I mean, at least talk to your allies that were in the trade that did the job too. It's very concerning that when this was brought to me a week ago, that this was happening. It is unacceptable. We should not allow it. And it is just, I'm thankful that everyone's here. And I'm also hoping that they will all come in to tomorrow night's meeting for the discussion on earned income tax. 1% of your gross income would come to the township if it passes. Thank you.
Next is Chris Clement. Clement.
Can I take his time?
Yeah, you could just state your name so we just make sure.
Jackie, my name is Jackie Hamilton.
Thank you.
I am the wife of a plumber that has gone through that school 30 years ago. He passed his master's test and has had a successful business here in Upper Darby Township. My son is currently going through that school. My husband has employed 6 different gentlemen that we have also put through that school that are now all very successful plumbers here in the township. I have a couple big concerns. One is that we cannot get in touch with Mr. Singh, despite me reaching out to Laura Wentz, Brian Andrusco, and nobody has been able to get through to him. CAO Jones has responded and said he would have Mr. Singh respond to Mr. McGraw. He has not done that. That is a huge concern. If we can't get in touch with the people that are in charge, who's running the show? I don't get it. Okay? The plumbers in this township are important, but as Upper Darby being a township, a Class 1 township, plumbers in the surrounding townships rely on our master plumber license. So not only are you affecting our Upper Darby plumbers, you are affecting plumbers in every township that is not a Class 1 township. I don't know if you realize that. If you look at Haverford Township's requirements to be a plumber, to be a master plumber, they accept Upper Darby's master plumber license. They don't accept the ICC. They accept the PHCC's license. Springfield, same thing. Marple Newtown, same thing. Ridley does it totally different. They are their own Class 1. They do not depend on us. But every other not Class 1 township depends on Upper Darby's acceptance of the PHCC master license. So not only are you affecting Upper Darby, you are affecting every plumber that tries to work in Delaware County. I don't know if you understand that or if you even realize that, but you are putting more than 625 plumbing companies in jeopardy, along with every resident that they serve, commercial and residential. What you guys are doing is wrong, and this is a very big deal, and it needs to be rectified. Thank you.
Ms. Hamilton. Ms. Hamilton. Ms. Hamilton. Yes. We have a friend in common and they reached out to me on your behalf and I left you a message. Did you get my message?
I did not.
Okay, I left you a message because I wanted to hear your perspective on it. So
Now, yes, we do have a friend in common, and I have been actually looking for that message and did not receive
I left it for you so you can double check that. But now I understand your perspective.
Next is Olivia Taylor.
First, I want to say thank you guys for all that y'all do, protecting us and keeping us safe. If nobody's going to thank you, I will. And it's just sickening that this is even an issue. As a longtime resident, I think about the 25 plus years as a resident of Upper Darby. I was here when Upper Darby was Upper Darby. In the past 8 years, starting with Barbara Ann's sorry behind, you have turned this into the shithole it is now, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. I remember the glory days of Upper Darby. I look at the trash. Now you're messing with the plumbing. What else? Every time you turn around, you're up to doing something stupid or illegal. Stupid or illegal. You know, I thought Vince was bad, but this guy here, oh, he couldn't be here tonight. You know, he doesn't hold Vince doesn't hold a candle to him, but he's just as bad because it started with him. And now you're messing with the plumbing. So what is going to take? Somebody's house to blow up before you get the message to leave these people alone? What is it going to happen? And the second issue is, Laura, you know, I know this is your neighbor, but month after month, this needs to stop. You know what I mean? It's redundant at this point. Either one of y'all move or you file a complaint for harassment. You need to, because the mayor, Blackwell, and Tunis, and you got the superintendent back there who allow her to partially attack you. You have more power as a council person than I do as a resident. So if you can put a stop to this, because it's out of control now. This is becoming a harassment. And you ought to use your seat to do what you need to do to put a stop to it. Either one of y'all move or you file a complaint and just stop sitting here taking this from her. Because this needs to stop. Because I'm not taking it no more. As you can see, she doesn't approach me anymore because I'm not having it. Me and you are two different people. Anyway, lost my train of thought. This new solicitor who's worse than Kilkenny. Well, actually, he's part of Kilkenny. Am I correct? He's part of the firm, right? Oh, yeah. So you guys just want lawsuits. You just want it. You know, I'm suing you, and I know I have every right to do so, but you just want to just take the taxpayers' money. You know, my lawsuit it has to happen. Put it like that. That's all I'm gonna say. But you're opening yourself up for more liability with this new clown attorney, and now you're messing with the plumbing. You know what? Let the chips fall.
Next we have, Autumn?
It's initials are probably AW.
W? Oh.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anton Wyland. I'm also a registered plumber, and it's been a long time, 35 years. And I just want to let you know, you're not just dealing with an association here, you're dealing with a plumbing community. And it's the communities all around here that we're serving. And the one also you're dealing with is the one who, when your grandmother's hysterical crying at 7:30 at night because her ceiling fell in and there's water pouring over the place and she don't know what to do, she calls us, and she knows it's going to be an honest person coming up because we're vetted. We're vetted through this association. We know who each other is. We know who's coming up in it. We brought them up in it. We trained them. We taught them, and that's who they're getting. So I just think it's a dishonest thing you're doing. It's not, dishonest, but it's not a good thing. You're hurting people that don't deserve it. You're hurting the people that are helping the people that you're trying to help. You know what I mean? So I think we should just be together and make it right. All right?
Sir, can you just, Sir, can you just state your name just for the minutes so we can
Spell it, you said?
state it?
State it, Anton Wineline. Thank you.
Next is Butch Ferguson. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Butch.
Next is John, I don't know, John McD. Okay, McDevitt.
I wanted to follow up on some previous meetings where the fuel truck in the township yard was discussed. Watching the April 16th council meeting at 24 minutes, one would think that the fire chief wanted us all to believe that there are no problems with the derelict fuel truck and the questionable fueling operation in the township yard. This storage tank / truck holds 3,000 gallons of diesel fuel. It's less than 50 feet from Lansdowne Avenue, and it's parked over top of 2 storm drains. I have some pictures. I'll send that later on. The lack of required safety provisions has created a serious fire protection problem and a serious environmental protection problem. There are 2 codes I'd like to point out that are applicable and also violated. The first is the International Fire Code. The second is the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection and Spill Prevention Program. The first IFC is published every 3 years and currently adopted into law by 31 states as their state fire code, including Pennsylvania. Following state adoptions, the IFC is frequently adopted into law by many municipalities as their municipal fire code. Upper Darby Township adopted the IFC into law by Ordinance 3099 on 7/21/21. Upper Darby also filed a related and more stringent amendment at that time, which I'll get into a little bit later. Some of the violations that are highlighted in the IFC. The IFC allows above-ground fuel tanks as long as there is containment, provisions usually in the form of dikes. There is no containment in the township yard. Tanks shall be protected from vehicles, from impact by concrete barriers, concrete posts. Trash trucks and forklifts could potentially do some damage. There is no impact protection in the township yard. Portable fire extinguishers are provided. There is 1 extinguisher laying on the ground under the truck, and that's likely not to do any good for anybody if the truck catches fire. Safety signage, none seen. IFC 5704.2.2 specifically states tank vehicles shall not be used for storage, but that's exactly what we're doing in the yard. The more stringent amendment I mentioned before, I'll read that, I quote, "The storage of Class 1 and Class 2 liquids in above-ground tanks is prohibited within Upper Darby Township." So Upper Darby put an amendment in place to strengthen the rules beyond the IFC. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Next is Robert, yeah.
Mr. McDevitt, are you willing to share your contact information?
Certainly.
I'd like to follow up with you.
Okay. I'll get you at a break.
You can come on. I'm going to give you.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Robert Shields? It's okay. It looks like Shields. But it's definitely Robert. Thank you. Next is Richard A. Bly.
So, hi Rita, how you doing? So, how's your nonprofit doing? Do you have a nonprofit working out of here, 100 Garrett Road? The Terror District? Yes. Oh, don't answer that? Don't answer that?
Mr. Blau, you have the floor. He has the floor.
Don't answer that? Okay. So, for everybody here that needs to wonder what I'm talking about, the Tower District Theater is Barbara Ann Keffer, Mr. Vince Ragione, Miss Rita LaRue, and Miss Allison Dobbins. Yeah, just so you can do your own research. You see the people behind me? That's an exercise of the civil rights movement right now. You see the people behind me? They've all been gathered for one reason: the injustices against Americans and their businesses. You see, Mr. Brown, as mayor, when you got elected, you made a promise for the betterment of Upper Darby, one world. And since you have been elected and been a representative of Upper Darby, just like the Dallas Cowboys, you've tanked it. Year after year after year of failure, just like the team you represent, you have tanked this Upper Darby Township by coming after the livelihood that I said that they were going to do. I said it. I prophesied it. I've prophesied in this building 9 different times. You can laugh, but I'm going to give you the last and final prophecy for you, Mr. Brown. The next thing that you do against the people will come back to you tenfold. That's why I'm here. My job is thus saith the Lord. It has always been that. You don't get it, and I know you don't care. But you don't understand my anointing. You don't understand that I have been this way for a long, long time. Since before any of you got up here, I'm coming up on 10 years of being an advocate for Upper Darby Township. And everything that I said has happened. The 6th district is in trouble. I know you said thank you. You're a piece of shit. The 6th district is in trouble. Oh, he is a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. You are a piece of shit. Okay? Because you don't care about the 6th district. You don't care about these kids. You don't care about the gangs. You don't care about the incursions. You don't care about the speed bumps. You don't care about the cars running up and down the street. Right, Michelle? In your own neighborhood. You, we already know where you're at. You think it's funny? You know you can see me in public, Mr. Banto.
Thank you. Next is Lou P. Sorry, can't read your last name. Lou P. Lou Purdy. Okay.
Hello, my name is Lou Purdy. Don't get dirty, call Purdy.
So I'm sorry, Mr. Purdy. Can you reset his time to 3? Please, Mr. Purdy has the floor. Please, I'm asking you all. Just give him the same respect you gave every other speaker.
All right, the name is Lou Purdy from Purdy Plumbing. Don't get dirty, call Purdy. I can remember when I got out of the military back in 1984. I was stationed on the
All right,
USS.
sir. Can you reset his time to 3 minutes? Please let Mr. Purdy speak without interruption.
I can speak over him, man. That doesn't bother me.
I just want to give everyone the same respect.
I got a loud voice. So I can remember when I got out of the Navy as a Navy veteran, served on the USS Lexington aircraft carrier, USS Nimitz aircraft carrier, USS Saratoga an aircraft carrier as a machinist mate, basically a pipe fitter. I joined in 1980, just a year before I graduated from high school. I got out in 1984. I remember I wanted to get into the plumbing trade. My mother got me into the plumbing trade working for a company down in Wilmington. So I wanted to come back up into this area, and I went and see Mr. Angelini, who was the plumbing inspector here. He says, I got a great program for you, the PHCC that these guys all went to. We all went to. We all know each other. We're a brotherhood here. So Mr. Angelini, the plumbing inspector, said, go to this school. I went to that school. Back then, it was 5 years. 5 years of great memories, great camaraderie with all these gentlemen and ladies. And I'm going to show you this. All my employees went to this school. All my employees are journeymen or master plumbers. I got 3 master plumbers in my business now. Myself, and I'm going to introduce you to my daughter. My daughter, Paige Purdy. Come on, hon, stand up. Wave to everybody. That's a master plumber who went to the PHCC, the DCMPC. She graduated from that class as a master plumber. She is now going for her license in the state of Delaware for her master plumber. So we have a lot of history here. This school has done great. And you know what, guys? I'm thinking back when Mr. Angelini let me come back there and do the test. And he was the guy who pointed me to this school. I hope you guys would understand, and ladies and gentlemen, understand that this body, this governing body, is worth it. I am also a master plumber in Philadelphia, New Jersey, and an ICC inspector. Let me tell you what, guys, go back to Mr. Angelini. He was one hell of a man. Hopefully, Mr. Singh, I don't know if you can match him, but God bless you, man. God bless the plumbers out here, and God bless America.
Thank you. And next, we do have Paige Purdy.
Hi, I'm Paige Purdy. I'm a licensed master plumber in Delaware County. I went to the PHCC school for plumbing for 4 years, HVAC program for 3 years. It's a great school. It's a great program. Like my dad said, we all have each other's backs. It's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. You guys are affecting the health of the nation, like other people have said earlier. You're affecting your residents, and you're not taking into account their health. I don't have much more to say, but please consider everything that we've said here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the speakers. I will give the floor to the administration. Just want to make a clear distinction. As myself as an individual, I wasn't aware about this until tonight, and some of my colleagues may have known prior. I was not briefed on it, so this is all new to a lot of council members are in the same boat. But as far as the communications with the school has been with the administration. So this is the majority of council, or maybe all of council's first time hearing all the details from everyone on their side. So I'm gonna give the floor to the mayor, and I guess she's gonna bring up Mr. Singh, and we'll possibly give council members a chance to ask some questions.
All right, I'll begin by reinforcing, what I said from the very beginning in this role. The goal is to always do the right thing, to make sure that we have the highest possible standards, to hire the right people, to put us in the right position so that all the work that's being done can be done in an exemplary fashion. This is no different. So this was an education tonight. I heard some things, I learned some things, and it's good to hear all the voices and all the perspectives in order to figure out the best path forward. So, we will certainly have a meeting of the minds and talk about it. And I will certainly, arrange a meeting with not everybody that spoke, but certainly the leaders, some of the leaders, and the gentleman, the legal representation, have a meeting and talk about it, and have not just Mr. Singh, who I have full faith in, and I'll talk about him in a minute. We'll have a meeting and talk about it just so that we can get on the same page and decide what the best path forward is. So I do have all faith in Mr. Singh. He's been, and I'll just reemphasize, he's been recognized at the state level as an exemplary director of L&I. So he's well versed in this issue, but there's always, multiple perspectives and multiple ways to look at an issue. So I'll let him talk about his perspective and his analysis of it. And as I said, we'll follow up and have a conversation and talk about it. But I want to give him the opportunity to address this issue. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to start off by saying that I truly appreciate and respect and 100% understand everybody's perspective. And I want to thank everybody that is here tonight to share their experience and their position. And if I'm going to request humbly, if everybody would allow me a few minutes to just share some background with the council, since most of them are not aware of this issue. So I respect humbly if I can just have a few moments just to share some background. And I would also answer, if the mayor allows, any points that were shared by the various members as well. So once again, thank you for this opportunity to address an issue that impacts the safety, integrity, and credibility of our plumbing licensing process here in Upper Darby Township. As the director and chief building official, it is both my legal duty and professional obligation to enforce our township's codes in a way that protect health, safety, and welfare. Section 265-6B of the Township Code, which was enacted back in 2004, is clear. Master plumber licenses must be based on exams administered by a competent organization. I just want to state for the record, I am pro-business, I am pro-construction. I was actually literally born into the construction industry myself. I worked in the field and I understand the importance of consistent, fair, and efficient regulation. I also understand how burdensome and counterproductive unnecessary red tape can be, which is why over the past 9 months, I've worked closely with Mayor Brown and CAO Jones to implement various reforms, including but not limited to reducing commercial permit fees by nearly 52%. Applications that once required multiple forms have been consolidated. For example,
Sorry, can you please just give him the floor? Give the same respect to every speaker. That's all I'm asking.
our use and occupancy application now covers up to 8 different transaction types in just one form, which was multiple forms previously. Dozens of department applications, forms, and documents have been modernized to streamline operations and make it easier to do business in Upper Darby. But while we've made the process easier and more efficient, we've also began properly enforcing laws that had long been ignored, including the requirement for business privilege licenses, which was enacted back in 1998, and full interior inspections during residential resales. These are not new laws. They've been on the books for years, but were never enforced. When I was given the responsibility to lead L&I found a department operating without any formal policies, procedures, or proper training. Many longstanding practices are in direct violation of federal, state, and local law. Within just 4 months of my appointment, we implemented over 100 formal written policies and procedures aligned with the law and industry best practices to ensure the department is administering and enforcing in a uniform, fair, and consistent manner. And we launched professional development programs to ensure staff are fully trained and equipped for their roles. Regarding PHCC and their request to have Upper Darby recognize their master plumber license, I want to be very clear that I fully support apprenticeship programs, including the PHCC's apprenticeship program. But licensing is a separate matter. Licensing must be objective, credible, and accountable to the public. The license they're asking us to recognize is issued by a private organization they control. It is not a government agency, not accredited, not aligned with ANSI, ISO, IEC, or NOCD standards, and not subject to independent oversight. I did meet with Mr. McGraw and requested some additional information, including any formal agreements from any municipalities, including Upper Darby, but none were provided. They recognized the license as meeting local licensing requirements. There is no audit trail, no external vetting of their exams, and no established standards, which were shared with me at the time of the meeting. And the same group that trains apprentices is also administrating and improving their own licensing exams, which can be seen as a conflict of interest. And when I met with Mr. McGraw and his team, we did discuss how we can get their the apprenticeship program is great. It's accredited, it's following the national standards, but we talked about how we can get their examination aspect to the same level as well, so it can be accepted. And I'll definitely share a lot more about that as well. Upper Darby is not a small town. We are the 6th largest municipality in Pennsylvania and one of the most densely populated communities. Our infrastructure is complex, our risk profile is high, and many surrounding municipalities rely on our master license to set the bar. If we begin issuing licenses based on unaccredited exams from private associations, we are not just lowering the bar, but we are opening the township to liability. I've met with Mr. McGraw and PHCC directly advise them which national organizations to contact for third-party accreditation, and remain open to future discussions. If and when their licensing program meets national accepted standards, Upper Darby can gladly recognize their credentials for new licensees. And one of the things I want to address is, when we met with Mr. McGraw and his team, what was discussed was persons that are currently licensed are not being affected by this licensing requirement because they're already currently licensed. What Mr. McGraw had shared was there's new people going through the program, and what the concerns that I had expressed was that, yes, you guys are testing people on the 2018 International Plumbing Code, but when I asked, how are you guys conducting the test? How are you guys proctoring it? How are the exam results being recorded? How is everything being done? It wasn't to national standards, which can open up liability possibly for their organization and for the township. I just wanted to share that, we'll continue to accept master plumber licenses from individuals who have passed standardized vetted exams, such as those offered by the International Code Council or from any other state or local government entity with proper authority and oversight. We don't want to just hand out licenses to anybody, and I truly appreciate and really do respect the apprenticeship program and the training they go through. And this is a shame. I think this is not just an opportunity for Upper Darby Township, but this should be, and Mr. McGraw and myself talked about this during our meeting, that Pennsylvania is one of only 7 states left in the entire country that don't have a state license. In Pennsylvania, you need a license to cut hair, to do nails, but you don't need a license to do plumbing work or gas work or electrical work. Anybody can do that work, especially in some of these smaller jurisdictions, and it is a shame. And unfortunately, the burden's falling on local jurisdictions to create licensing programs and requirements, and Upper Darby did the same back in 2004. If we had a state licensing requirements like many of our neighbors, we would simply accept the state license and we would allow them to pull permits and do the work. And I even spoke with Mr. McGraw about the legislation that they're trying to pass at the state level. And I even said that as a member of various building code associations within Pennsylvania, we would give the support letters behind PHCC and their apprenticeship program and their training program. I want to work with them. The only question we currently have is the testing aspect. We can't just issue a license under a private entity called whatever it's called when the only the Delaware it's the Delaware County Municipalities Plumbing Council. Yes.
Sure. No one interrupted you when you had the floor, okay?
Just to end that, and Mr. McGraw did confirm to me that the Delaware County Municipality Plumbing Council, besides having their Department of State certificate of organization, they don't have any testing or they don't have any testing or accreditation, and we're willing to work with the PHCC and with what they do. Is just one little aspect is we need to get the examination part better vetted to ensure the credibility of that license.
I'm sorry, Mr. Singh. Can we just pause? I don't. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. You can continue.
All right, and
just in the interest of time,
sure.
I want to get council members want to ask questions.
Not a problem. I just want to share there's a lot of outdated practices, unfortunately, with L&I, and I really am. I promise. I know it doesn't seem that way, especially tonight. But everything we are doing in L&I, we have been doing in the last 9 months in L&I, has been to help improve the health, safety, and welfare of the community, and to make it easier for businesses to do work Upper Darby Township, and I will leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to fill questions from council members. Just going to go in a row. Silva, do you have any questions? Sorry, 1 second. I'm going to go with Councilor Silva, make my way around, okay? Council members will have the floor. Questions will be timed.
Okay.
Yes, and Mr. Minnick, I will get to you after I go through the folks that are here.
Okay. Yep. Sure.
Sorry, Matt, you have-
Absolutely. So what is wrong? So the Delaware County Municipal Plumbing Council is not considered a body then that you could accept for certification for testing?
They're a private organization which does not hold any testing accreditations or has been vetted by a third-party agency that says that the way they proctor their exams, issue the exams, grade the exams is accredited and properly vetted.
Is it a business or is it like a trade association?
I wouldn't be able to answer that. That's, I'm not sure how that structure is set up.
Okay. I in my field, right? So I work in the maritime industry. I have several licenses and issued by government bodies, right? And like you say, it is kind of nice standardized thing. I could get on a boat in California. I could get on a boat in Alaska. I could go wherever I want to go and I have a license. It's great. The only issue I have with that versus what this group is offering is this. To get my degree or to get my license, I had to know about like desalination plants. I had to know about oil water separation. I had to know about, natural fiber rope. I have to know about things that in 20 some years of working in the industry, I've never used. Do you know what I mean? So it's great to have a like a governing something to be handed down from kind of on high or something to kind of, but the reality is that when I work with people in my industry, they need to know the job that they have to do. And sometimes the Coast Guard license doesn't really reflect that. I mean, I'm not saying I'm against the Coast Guard issuing a license. I think it's great. I think I mean, I'm certainly not going to, but what I am going to say is that these guys have, like almost 600 hours of classroom instruction, 8,000 hours in the field before they're even like a journeyman. So that seems to me more relevant than a license issued by the city of Philadelphia in a classroom. I mean, I had to pass a test like to get a mechanic's job or whatever at SEPTA, but it's a test, it's paper. Do you know what I mean? When you change a cylinder head in a bus, that's kind of a bigger test to me. Like, can you do that? Or can you just pass paper? So I hope I'm not quite sure what the issue is with the Delaware County Municipal Plumbing Council or what it is we'd have to do to make it acceptable. We really should work on that. The other thing, as a further concern, this governing body, and I'm not in agreement on this, wants to pass an EIT, right? They want to pass an earned income tax. So what's the logic in saying that the thing that everyone uses to make money is no longer good here? Because I thought we all wanted that money. Like, well, that's what it seems like. So it's concerning to me that a lot of people that live in Delaware County, who live in Upper Darby, who service people in Upper Darby, are licensed this way. And we are now concerned with that license. And I mean, are there incidences? Is there something that makes us say, oh my God, we really have to rethink our review or analysis of this license? Or is this just something that, like you say, it's kind of come up?
So if I'm not sure to what extent I can share about particular property addresses or particular incidents, and I wouldn't be able to share was that person that was previously licensed through the PHCC or another entity. But a lot of the issues we're seeing in the township are related to, and once again, I want to go back to, I 100% appreciate and respect their training. The PHCC apprenticeship program is not the matter that we're questioning tonight. It's just the examination aspect of how is it being proctored, vetted, scored, and how are the results. All of that aspect is the only thing that's under consideration or is of a concern. But in regards to particular incidents, if the mayor and CAO would allow, we can certainly share various properties and permits where there are serious structural, serious plumbing, serious electrical issues that we have seen, and the person currently holds a master plumber license or a master electrician license, and it might be that those individuals were able to get licenses by coming to the department in the past and simply getting the license because they may have known somebody or it was just issued to them. And
He's not making an accusation.
I'm
He's just making a statement. So please.
I'm not saying that about these individuals. I'm saying that in
a general sense, right? There's no accusations being made here. So I want to make that clear.
No one interrupted some of you all when you had the floor. Can I give the floor to the next council person? We're just trying to ask questions. Councilman Banto?
Thank you, President Tony. So, hello? Oh, okay.
Also, Mr. Singh, if you can just answer the questions by when the time's out, just to give each council member fair opportunity. Councilor Banto? Councilor Wentz? Councilor Banto has the floor. You clearly have not read the resolution. Councilor Banto?
Okay, thank you. So let me be clear here, and I just quickly want to buttress President Tunis's comment. This issue, some of us just hearing it here today, and it is a sensitive issue. For me personally, I mean, when it comes to licensing, I'm on the zoning committee, so I'm big on that. Two, I'm also big when it comes to the local. I believe in our local community. So I think if anyone can recall, when you came in, you heard how I address it in this chamber, with your expertise, and then you convince us. Now, my question to you, I mean, there were a lot of things thrown out here today, but what I want to find out from you is, what is the yardstick? Just clarify quickly, what are you, the determination that you are using to qualify people from outside of New Jersey, I mean, outside of Upper Darby versus people who are here with the license or whatever?
Sure. So there are various states.
Is it the exam or?
Sure. So for example, in the state of New Jersey,
Yes.
they have a plumbing board. People go through their program, they get licensed. In Philadelphia, they have their licensing requirements.
Hold on. I'm sorry, sir.
He has the floor.
So various state and local jurisdictions have their own licensing programs and process of issuing the license.
Do you have a follow-up question?
All right. So I'm still not clear. So the state of New Jersey versus I don't want to put it against Pennsylvania, but with whatever training they acquire. So meaning it is not standard. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
So for example, if you're speaking about the training, their training is amazing. Their apprenticeship program is great. That's not the question. The question is the examination aspect. So for example, some of the comments were made was that in Philadelphia, if you have a master plumbing license in Philadelphia, why you would be allowed to work in Upper Darby, or it's a different code. Philadelphia is actually on the International Plumbing Code. They adopted the ICC International Plumbing Code, and they bought the license from ICC, and yes, they did amend and edit the plumbing code to make it specific to their jurisdiction, but it is in fact the International Plumbing Code that is in Philadelphia is just.
Mr. Purdy, I'm sorry. He has the floor. He has the floor, though. Sir, I'm not trying to. Sir, this is your first warning, okay?
You know what? My first warning, my second warning.
All right. Have a good night. Continue.
That's it.
Mr. President, I am no question.
Thank you, Councilor Bansal. Councilor Wagner, 1 second. I just want to make sure your time's reset. Councilor Wagner?
Thank you. I mean, there's so much here, I don't even know how to unpack it and ask the questions. Mr. Singh, with all due respect, first of all, I want to remind you, this is not the city of Philadelphia, and this is not New Jersey. This is Upper Darby Township, okay? This is Upper Darby Township. And so much of what you just said was so contradictory that I can't even sit here and ask appropriate questions. I'll ask some. You talked about you want to make this the highest possible standards, and you want to be to the highest possible standards. And then you go on to talk about how their training, quote, equals amazing. But we want to make sure the testing is right. And let me get this straight from what I heard from someone who spoke. And you said the way to do that and to get the highest possible standards is to, quote, read a book and take a test? How dare you degrade them, first of all, by saying that? And that's what you do? The way to fix this is to read a book and take a test? That's awful. Frankly, I have a JD. Everybody knows that. I wouldn't know absolutely one bit of how to do what they do. But you know what? They affect our lives every single day. Every single day. And for you to say that to them, I think is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And not to mention, I understand, Mr. Singh, you don't live here. I understand that. They do. And I am a big proponent of small businesses. And the fact that you're trying to push some of these small businesses out of Upper Darby Township is awful. And I want to ask you, because I think this was one of the contradictory things you said. You at one time said they're accredited. You did say that, and I can pull that up later. But then went and said they're unaccredited.
For the examination aspect.
For the examination.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I really hope that you took what their counsel said, Mr. DeLuca, to heart. You said that they're unaccredited, and I guess that's just by reading a book and taking a test. But they're unaccredited, and therefore they're going to open up themselves to liability. No, sir. You are opening up this township to liability. That's what's happening. And frankly, you said it must be obtained by a competent organization, but then said their training is amazing. Are you suggesting they are not competent?
So to answer that question, Councilwoman, the PHCC is a registered, recognized with the Department of Labor for their apprenticeship program. The licenses that are in question, they're issuing under the Delaware County Municipalities Plumbing Council. That organization, I did ask Mr. McGraw to share paperwork with me about that organization's accreditation.
Which organization?
The Delaware County Municipalities Plumbing Council is the organization that they use to issue the licenses. That organization did not provide to me any accreditation or standardization for the exam. They're not issuing the license under PHCC, they're issuing it under a third, under a second company.
Okay.
And that company isn't.
Well, let me ask you this. Based on the things that were provided to us in this packet, I see multiple emails from Councilman Andrusco asking why they had not received an answer. Did they try to work with you to get that and they just simply didn't receive an answer? Because I also heard a lot of people here talk about how they've tried to contact you and have been unable to do so. So is that true or not? Okay, if you're not gonna answer me, that's fine. I'm not gonna wait here and waste my time while you're not gonna answer me. I mean, the bottom line is, again, do we want to keep ending up back in court over and over and over again? And I would like to say to all the master plumbers in the room, I wish that I had the ability to vote on this. This does not come before us. I wish that it did. I'm glad that you're here so that you can voice your concerns, because it appears there's nowhere else for you to do that. But what's next? So plumbers today, what's next, Mr. Singh? The roofers, the electricians, the restaurant owners, the people who keep this community going. And Mayor, I will say to you, I appreciate what you said. I really do, and I hope you mean it, that you learned some things tonight and are going to take another look at it. I appreciate that, and I hope that you do. But thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it.
All right. I want to address her.
1 second. Just the word time left.
Councilwoman Wagner, I appreciate your passion. Mr. Singh, his intentions are honorable. So
Mayor, I understand.
hear me out. Hear me out. I just wanted to address it because I didn't hear the beginning of your statement, but I heard, the part. I heard half of it, and you was very passionate, and I respect you, and we talk. So I'm just letting you know his intentions are honorable, and he has a mandate from me to make sure that we do the right thing. And listen, no one's perfect, and as I said, we will meet with the powers that be. We will have a conversation, and we'll try to find a happy medium. It's not our goal to because you mentioned putting small businesses out of business. I don't think you really believe that. We have no goal. I'm talking to her. I don't care what you. I'm talking to her. So
Mayor, and I appreciate that. And that's all I'm saying. I was actually thanking you for being willing to talk to them. It's really not what I heard afterwards, but that's okay. You are the boss of them. So I'm going to ask you to do that.
okay, and I was just vouching because his intentions are honorable. He's not trying to do the wrong thing. No one would. I wouldn't allow him. He's not, and certainly that's not his goal to harm anybody's livelihood or put anybody out of business. So we'll it's not a done deal. This is not. We're saying we're not drawing a line in the sand and saying it is what it is. That's not what we're saying at all. Okay.
Secretary Billups.
Let me say this. I appreciate a good plumber. Because I know I've had some issues in my house, so I appreciate a good plumber. Just in case you didn't hear me, and I wasn't aware of this either. But again, I don't think there's anything that council is voting on, like Councilor Wagner was saying. But what I do know is that having a license is important, right? So, because depending on what it is that you do, like I don't know anything about plumbing. I go in the house and I flush my toilet. And that's it, and it works. But I got it. But what I'm saying is, as
Sir,
far
please.
as licenses go, right? So, I am in the mental health field, right? So just because some people say that, hey, you know what? I listened to my friend, so now I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Well, you know what? I read a book. I'm not a teacher, right? So I'm saying is that I think these women and men that do what they do, if it's anything in there that's not, if they don't have I appreciate it if they don't have a license. But my question is, I'm just saying that I appreciate you guys, but my question is the issue about the testing, the Delaware County place is not accredited? That's what I'm not understanding. Is that what I heard?
You are correct, Councilwoman. The only thing in question about the entire process is the examination aspect. That's all. That's the only thing that we are concerned about. And there are ways, as the mayor mentioned, for us to have some type of a solution. One of the solutions could be, and Mr. McGraw, myself, and I remember there was another gentleman from their association as well. We did talk about what is the solution for the examination part. You could get your standardized examination. You could get it accredited. We could even do something where L&I official is in the room to make sure that the proctoring is actually happening the way, there's so many solutions that we can do. We don't want to put PHCC or the Delaware County Municipalities Plumbing Council out of business. The only thing we are really truly trying to do, honestly, is to make sure that the exam is being conducted in a proper manner. That's all. That is our only intention. And once we receive that, whether it's through a third-party association that vets their process, or if it's done internally, we can be more confident and make sure that the licensing is being issued and we can accept that licensing.
Did anyone talk to the Delaware County, I'm sorry, I don't know the name, the Delaware County Municipal Plumbing Council? Thank you. Did anyone talk to them and ask them how they can become accredited?
I did meet with Mr. McGraw. He did share a packet of information with me that talked about the examination itself, but it failed to address all of the questions about how to ensure the security of the exam.
All right, so just my opinion, I think that's probably where it needs to start with the Delaware County. If you guys are with this organization and you've been with them for a long time, and I don't know anything about accreditation. Well, I do know stuff about accreditation, but what I'm saying is, I think that's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a plumber, but I do know what it means to have a license and how important it is for everyone that's involved. So that's my question. That's my comment.
Thank you, Secretary Billups. Thank you, Mr. Singh. My first question is, what is the requirement for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Unfortunately, the state of Pennsylvania is failing its residents by not having a statewide plumbing contractor license.
Thank you. And as far as the apprenticeship program, based on your knowledge, it's in good standing. It's an exceptional program.
Absolutely, yes, it is.
Thank you, thank you. So, like my colleague from the first district stated, and my colleague at large, Secretary Billups and Councilor Wagner, that our role is very limited here. But what we can do as council is, the mayor said he's going to meet with the organization. I would like an update by the next meeting, which is the May 21st meeting. If there's a contact on here as well, I would just like to talk to the president just to gain knowledge, because some of my colleagues knew about this prior and I was not aware. So that would tell me that other folks weren't aware. But like that was stated today, I learned a lot, and I understand the perspective these gentlemen are coming from as well. So I would really like an update. And the counselors, if you're sending stuff to department heads and no one's contacting you, no one's responding back, I need to know that, okay? So, Mr. Singh, if you can commit, the mayor's already committed to meeting with these folks. If we can have an update by the May 21st meeting, that would be good, sufficient. Councilor Brannis?
Yeah, I'm gonna make this quick because obviously I didn't. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna make this quick because I didn't know that this was happening tonight either. However, I do appreciate all the plumbers that are out here today. I used to teach at a VOTEC, and those kids came out with more knowledge than I could ever know. Some of them became firefighters or EMTs or electricians or agriculturalists or doctors or phlebotomists, hairstylists, whatever. And in those VOTECs, when they came out, they were fully licensed. And this was in the state of New Jersey. As a teacher, my teaching degree originally was in New Jersey. And I know that Pennsylvania does not play nice, even though we're supposed to. And they would have had me run through the gamut, but unfortunately for them, I was there as an emergency teacher in their times of need, so I had special certification for that. But now that I am in my new position, which includes code enforcement, I also see the importance of the work that is done. I am currently studying for my BCO. But also, when it comes to testing, and despite what my colleague over here, Counselor Wagner said, and I understand the importance of tests, but even the BCO exam is most of the time a virtual open book test. Now, I don't need to take an open book test. I mean, I gained my master's degree. I know what it is. I don't need an open book test. But testing standards have gone down, so I don't necessarily think that certain tests are going to do that. And that is through the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs. And that is an actual accredited organization for this exam. And they're offering open book tests. And me as a teacher, I'm not a big fan of open book tests. I'm not. But I do know this. The person who has been training me has nearly 40 years of experience. I cannot even see some of the cracks that he sees because he's been doing it for so long. So I value every single thing that you do. My father was a physician. He had a private practice. He was the neighborhood doctor that still made medical calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. But yet, in the medical profession, which is needed because technology changes, science changes, he did have to, reinstate his license every year or every 2 years. Is that something that, and I'm not asking you, Mr. Singh, I'm going to ask the plumbers here because you're the
He
one.
has the floor, so that's the thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will ask Mr. Singh. I really want to hear from the plumbers, but okay. If there are these exams that they have to take, and I know like the plumbers that are here now are probably going to be grandfathered in, which is good. But are there recertification exams every year, like a teacher would take, or a doctor would take, or something as technology changes? Is that something that you're trying to think of? Because, like, quite frankly, sometimes the old school method, they've been around the block. They know some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just asking you, is it like doctors where when technology changes, they have to be recertified for certain things or for their license?
So absolutely, as codes change, the examination would be on the latest edition of the code as adopted in the state. Currently in Pennsylvania, the 2018 plumbing code is adopted, so they are examining their students on the 2018 plumbing codes. When it's going to transition into the 2021 edition, I'm confident that they're going to be upgrading their examination to the 2021 code standards. So yes, there is progress in the type of questions and materials that they have to go through and certify under.
I mean, like, you guys know the best pipes are copper pipes. Because I've been seeing them all over the place. It's great. But now you see people doing it with like PVC pipes, and obviously it's not the same. But I just want to make sure, like, I mean, my biggest thing is like I think that the plumbers here and the plumbers who have been here over years and years and years, they know their stuff, right? And I just want to make sure that that is valued and not diminished
Counselor-
because of this.
Thank you, Councilor Brannis. Councilor Driscoll?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Singh, for being here tonight, for sharing your background and answering our questions. I understand what your intention was here. I mean, you're doing what you think is best for the residents of this township. I think in your time here, I've got to know you. I think you're a very by-the-book individual, and I respect you for that. But I also think that there are times where there need to be exceptions to the book, and I think that this is a perfect example. I think the record of this organization here really speaks for itself. But really, it sounds like compared to what we're saying is required, they're overqualified for that. I believe the discussion with the MPC, I think you're saying is a conflict of interest because the test is administered by the same organization that does the apprenticeships. Is that correct? A rough understanding?
Because they're not third-party vetted, yes.
Okay, so regarding like the vetting process, because the state doesn't have any like specific licensing for this, who is the body that decides what provides accreditation and who is accredited?
So there are different national industry and international industry associations, such as the American National Standards Institute, the International Organization for Standardization, the National Occupational Competency Testing Institute. And what those organizations do is they'll look at the program, the examination program, they'll see how it's laid out, they'll see how the examination is being proctored, how the exams are being delivered, how the students are taking their exam. They're going to take all of that into consideration and ensure that the testing, just the testing, when it's happening, it's meeting national standards for testing. And that once the student passes that exam, that testing is actually to national standards, you know.
Right, understood. So when did this officially go into effect that we are no longer accepting the DCMPC test? Was it the start of 2025?
So what's happening right now, Councilman, and that's a great question, is in Upper Darby Township, a majority of the contractor licenses expired at the end of March per the ordinance, and that's why this is coming to fruition now.
Okay, was there any communication that was provided to this agency prior to that?
Besides the meetings that we had with Mr. McGraw, no.
Which was following this March deadline?
Which happened in early March.
Oh, early
Yes.
March, okay. I guess, like I mentioned, I think that we need to definitely take a second look at this, and I have faith that the mayor and you will be meeting with this organization moving forward. I guess my recommendation is at this point, given that it's been, I believe they said the last 30 years that this has been an accredited institution, until we have further dialogue on this, I would at least hope that we can give them a deadline, albeit at the end of this year or 6 months, something like that, as this is an ongoing and fluid situation. I think just to abruptly change this policy without any communication ahead of time just doesn't make sense. Thank you again for being here, and thank you all for coming out tonight. President, I'll yield my time back to you.
Councilor Wentz.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the plumbers for coming out this evening. Mr. Singh, thank you for being here. So there are two main points I want to talk about. First of all, if you had responded to the plumbers who reached out to you in January, we wouldn't be here, and the problems that you're trying to solve now would have been resolved before the March deadline. So if you'd respond all the ways that all the different plumbers reached out to you for months and you didn't respond at all, you could have dealt with it before March, before the deadline, before you were going to change the plan. That's a concern. I'm not asking a question. I'm just making a statement. The other thing, you revealed where this came from. And I understand exactly the situation you're talking about. It's the bad plumber. The bad plumber that I reported at previous council meetings. The individual who may have a master plumber's license, certification, so forth, but he had different company names. He was actually hired by the township years ago to do a massive plumbing installment in one of the township buildings and messed it all up to the point in which the township sued him. And because of the way they do their paying through not him directly, through his mother, the township lost the lawsuit. So this guy comes to the township, creates a new company, and applies for a township license under this new company. Then he goes out, he does a job for residents in this township. I've been in communication with two residents, same household, who they hired him to do their bathroom and their shower, and he did a horrific job. He didn't seal it. He didn't do any of the required things to happen, to the point that they have mold, and no other certified licensed plumber will come and fix it because they're liable for all the mistakes that this guy did. And so they're the reason why you're having this situation, but it's not the plumbers in this room. It's the guy who keeps changing his company, but his name's the same. And it's the township's inability to track different companies to find out it's the same name, the same bad plumber. It's the bad apple that's ruining the bunch for everyone. It's the bad apple that's causing this problem. But instead of reaching out to the people who actually certify the plumbers in our county and our township and having a conversation with them to solve the problem, you didn't do that. But instead, you make it all about this test. It's, it's not certified. It's not from this. It's from a private organization. But at the same time, there's testing that takes place in the township, done by the leaders of the particular department in the township. But you're okay with that. But an organization that you have said was credited and unaccredited at the same time, which I'm not sure how that's possible, but I believe they're accredited, have been doing this training for a very long time and took it over because the township stopped doing it. So the township gave them. The township ended up giving them all the information and empowered them to do it for the township instead. You have to go after the bad apple. You have to stop that bad apple from giving these guys a bad name, and women, because I'm a woman of the trades as well. He's the problem, not them. He's the problem. I've sent numerous emails about this in particular bad apple. I've talked at council meetings about the bad apple. And I did not realize until you mentioned the little weavering of not actually talking about, we're not saying his name, but that's the bad apple. That's the problem. You have to solve that problem. Track his name and all of the different companies he comes up with and stop giving him a township license. That's the problem. Fix that problem. But don't persecute these guys for doing the job right, for having a great apprenticeship program, making sure that they're certified, they're licensed plumbers who come out to our community. They have businesses here, they live here, and they help our community. Do not persecute them because of the bad apple. Thank you.
Councilor Blackwell?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Singh, for providing us with some information that we did not know about. I thank the plumbers for coming here and advocating for the neighborhood and for our community. We really do need you. I definitely appreciate you and all that you do. And we do need to support our local businesses. I guess I need a little bit more clarity on what's going on. With this apprenticeship program, has it been totally closed down as of date or not?
The apprenticeship program is not in question. It's a great apprenticeship program. They do a fantastic job. I even told Mr. McGraw that at the time of the meeting. None of that is in question. The apprenticeship program is not in question.
It's just the testing.
It's just the examination aspect is not even under the same entity that does the apprenticeship program. It's a separate entity, and that entity has not been vetted by a third party company. That's all. That's the only thing is the testing is not vetted for a jurisdiction.
Do you think that process can be done within a month or two or fixed, or is that up to them?
That would be up to Mr. McGraw and his team to see which, there's several different entities out there that would be able to come to their facility to examine how they do their, testing examination and all of that. And that would be solely on them. But there's, that would be on them, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm just curious about how many people or what will be impacted if they're not able to test within a certain time frame. Do they have to wait until it's
That would be an answer
approved,
for,
or-
that would be an answer for Mr. McGraw. If I remember correctly, I think he said there's about 24 to 36 students that attend every cohort of their apprenticeship program. So I'm not sure to the exact number of people that this would affect.
Well, approximately how many people may be impacted?
Councilor Blackwell, your question is supposed to be directed to Mr. Singh. I'm sorry, we have to have order here. I'm sorry, I do apologize. She did direct the question to you, so it's not on you, sir. It's on my colleague, but.
My apologies.
Yeah, if we can just get some information, because a lot of us don't know. I mean, I have this from the plumbers, which I do appreciate. But just something that we can have to answer some of these questions. And then we also have, I believe there's a contact on here for the plumbers, so council members can certainly reach out to them as well.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. I
All right.
appreciate you.
Last but not least, Mr. Minnick, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I want to thank all the plumbers for coming out tonight. I have a great deal of respect for master plumbers. Just like other counselors, I'm hearing this issue for the very first time tonight. I mean, you know, and that has already been stated by other counselors. I mean, we're not voting on this tonight, but I would like to ask some questions from Amrinder. What does the exam take examination?
I
The
don't have
plumbers.
I don't have that information in front of me at this time. I apologize. I can't answer that.
Now, is Councilor Brennis brought this up? Is the testing done online and is it an open book test?
Once again, because the testing is currently done by that private organization, I wouldn't be able to answer those questions.
Questions that are not for him.
Well, you know, I will say going forward, and that's all I have to say.
Us. I mean, I heard a lot of adversarial comments. There is no there is no us versus them philosophy with this. There's no good side. There's no bad side. There's a difference of opinions and philosophies on this, but I think we ultimately want the same thing. We want people to be able to do good plumbing and be accredited and be qualified and certified. And you know, we want them to have the proper training. We want people to get quality service when they pick up the phone to call a plumber. And I think we'll get there. I think because we ultimately want the same thing, when we have a sit down, I think we'll find a solution, a happy medium, and to get us there. I totally believe that because I think we ultimately want the same thing. We don't want different things. There's no goal here to try to hurt businesses that are quality and that are the heart and soul of what Upper Darby represents. So that's not in our best interest. That's not what we're trying to do. Certainly that's not what Render's trying to do, but he has been given a mandate for us to adhere to the highest possible standards. So I think it's not a do it this and do it this way and then don't care about what's going on over here. I think we can find that sweet spot where we can all peacefully coexist and he can still be doing his job and everybody can still be doing what they do. So that's the bottom line.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Thank you, Mr. Singh. Councilor Silva?
Yeah, Councilman
Thank you,
Driscoll had
Amrinder.
an idea, and I'm wondering if we couldn't act on it. I mean, is it possible to curtail this till there is give a 3-month window or something for this to be handled before it's enacted?
It's in our court. We're going to have a meeting to talk about it. There's nothing for you to do. There's nothing to act on.
Oh,
it's in our court. It's in the administration's court.
So I guess the question, just because I know what he's trying to get to, the question is right now, until you guys have your conversation, is there
There's nothing changing until we have that conversation. Nothing changes until we have that conversation.
okay. And as chair of municipal licensing and services, can I be included in this conversation as well?
I don't see a problem with that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll also we'll like a briefing from that, Councilor Silva.
Can we briefly respond and get some clarification?
I have an entire agenda I've not gotten to.
I'm sure you do.
I
just want to get some clarification.
Sir, you're talking out of turn. Just give me a second. I've have an entire agenda to get through. I'll ask council if I can just give him 3 minutes, if that's okay. Is that not okay? All right.
I'll let Mr. McGraw, but the clarification I had was.
Please come to
You
the
don't
mic.
have the floor, sir.
I'll let Mr.
McGraw. Yes. Can we just yield 3 minutes to him?
So I just want to let everybody here know, Mr. Singh had the requirements for our license since March 24th. That packet you guys had, that was sent to him March 24th after he requested that after our March 13th meeting. No response back, as the councilwoman over there said. No response back, which led us to have to go to council and bring it here because we have no choice when your L&I department will not answer the phone, will not answer emails when we do what we were asked to do.
Our requirements are in there, 3.5 hours for the councilman on Zoom. That's the time they have to take the test. We don't know whose tests we're marking. And it was too much to put all the requirements in there to think that we are giving licenses away. I'm the executive director for the Pennsylvania Association of Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors as well. I am testifying before Philadelphia City Council, May 29th, because they gave a license out to somebody that didn't meet the standards. Anybody comes in here with a New Jersey license, is he checking to see that they took that test from New Jersey? How's he verifying that? That certificate that I gave there, that I got permission from Graham Kettrick, that's a certificate from the Pennsylvania Department of Labor, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry, classifying him as a journeyman because he took our program and took our exam. What more do we have to do to vet it? It doesn't have to be approved by somebody else. You go to Bucks County, they have the same thing. They do the same test. It's not accredited by anybody, but they go through the same apprenticeship program that we run. Allentown uses the same apprenticeship program that we run. They do the same testing. They are not vetted and approved by all these agencies. I just need you guys to understand that. You guys have that proof in that packet, which he had since March 24th. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes.
Motion.
Let the plumbers leave. Okay, keep going.
Request, is there a motion on the floor to request for council to consider, council consideration to approve the April 16, 2025?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Wagner, seconded by Councilor Blackwell. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, aye. All right, just gonna give the room a second. Uh, All right. The next item on our agenda is Resolution 1625, 41 South Union, Final Security Improvement Release and Certificate. This is just an introduction. Mr. Chas, if I can just have a short introduction on this. This has been something these folks have been waiting for a while.
All right, so this has been in the works for a while. If we just go to the next slide, I'll just go over a very brief timeline of the, thanks. I guess I could do it. Very brief timeline, right? This project's going back to 2019. This is the self-storage unit at 41 South Union, right? This project received approval by council in March of 2019. They got a bond as part of that to do their improvements. Substantial construction was completed in 22. Bond was dropped. The final inspections were completed in March 7th, and now we're asking council per the development agreement to release the rest of the bond. That's a before and that's an after. As you can see, the project is mostly complete or completed. We have a couple permitting things to work out before we finally sign off, but the site work itself is done. And we're hoping to have all of that clarified by the 21st. And this is the recommendation from our engineer from March 10th. So we ask that this be introduced so that we can close out this bond and this project.
Thank you. Okay, I'll just, can you time me, Kate? Sorry, if there's any comments from members of council. And Mr. Chaz, correct me if I'm wrong, this isn't money from the township. This is money that the township has to sign so it can be released.
That's right. It's held in a bond by Liberty Mutual.
Okay, I would just, this is going to be introduced on the 21st. I'll ask my colleagues, this is in my district. The gentlemen that have been overseeing this project, they have brought tremendous improvement to my district since I've taken office, and this is another example of this. I do apologize. I don't know what the wait was, but I'll just ask my colleagues if you can support this on May 21st. That's all for me. Are there any further comments?
I have a comment. Yeah, it's down the street from my church, so yeah, I'm okay with it.
Councilor Wentz?
Yes, thank you. I was on council when it was first approved. I just wanted to thank the owners that for the new building and all the greenery and the plants and trees that I saw in the images. Thank you so much for taking the environmental aspects into the equation. Really appreciate the work that you did. So thank you.
Thank you. If there's no further concerns, this will be on the May 21st agenda, and I hope to have all your support. Thank you, Mr. Chass.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor.
The next item on the agenda is our Honorable Mayor, Ad Brown.
Thank you. Good evening, President Tunis, Secretary Billups, Council, Administration, and the taxpayer, citizens, and residents of Upper Darby. I hope that everyone is enjoying the good weather as we march towards summer. We have a lot of important work to do, and I'm happy that we will work to complete it tonight and tomorrow night. On April 10th, prior to our last meeting, we had the privilege of hosting the Urban Land Institute in Upper Darby and use their expertise to get new ideas for the Destination Downtown Upper Darby project, which is a critical piece of our economic development goals. They chose specific stakeholders to ask questions and get input to learn more about Upper Darby, and they used a technical assistance panel, or TAP, process of volunteers who did the work and conducted the interviews. We look forward to their final report and recommendations on the path forward. Since our last meeting, I have attended several events in my capacity as mayor. From Wednesday, April 16th through the 18th, I attended the African American Mayors Conference in Washington, D.C., and learned from my fellow mayors about how they are addressing the same issues that we deal with daily. I served as the co-chair along with Mayor Michael Owens of Mableton, Georgia, on the Policy Committee on Housing and Community Development, and we shared what we were doing in our respective city and township as it relates to economic development and affordable housing. The Pennsylvania Municipal League held their appreciation tour in Upper Darby at the Drexel Brook on April 16th, where Crandall and other members of the administration represented us. On April 25th, I had the honor of attending and participating in the historical marker unveiling event at Holy Child Academy. The students did the unveiling and appreciated the significance of this amazing event on their campus. Next, we met with Governor Shapiro's office to discuss the Crozier EMS service impact and our plan to fund our EMS solution with STAT. Later that day, we met with a developer who shared some creative ideas about the revitalization of 69th Street. Later that evening, I attended the Jackie Robinson Night event at Dermont Field, which is always a fantastic event put on by the Drexel Hill Little League. On Tuesday, April 29th, Crandall and I met with Senator Tim Kearney and State Reps Heather Boyd and Gina Curry to discuss EMS in Upper Darby and the surrounding areas. I look forward to the upcoming Move with the Mayor activities that were so well received last year. I also look forward to the Mental Health and Wellness Community Resource Fair organized by Councilwomen Michelle Billups and Danielle Blackwell. Briefly, I want to talk about the CDBG process that's currently undertaking. The CDBG PY51 Public Services application is now available at the Upper Darby Community and Economic Development website. The CDBG program was created to provide communities with economic opportunities that lead to vibrant, attractive, safe, and sustainable commercial and residential communities. Housing and related quality of life needs, such as the acquisition of housing by low and moderate income persons, the prevention of homelessness, or the provision of shelter for those experiencing homelessness, are prioritized per Upper Darby CDBG Consolidated Plan. Community and Economic Development is hosting a mandatory information session for potential applicants. The session will be held at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, May 15th, 2025. Please email cdbgsub@upperdarby.org to request a link to the meeting. The application due date is Thursday, May 29th, 2025. And next, I have the proclamation supporting efforts to address loneliness and isolation through social connection. We are gathered here not only to recognize an important initiative during Mental Health Awareness Month, but also to reflect on a pressing issue that affects the health and well-being of communities across the nation and right here in Upper Darby. Loneliness and social isolation may not always make headlines, but they are very real and deeply impacting challenges. More and more of our neighbors, young and old, across all backgrounds, are experiencing disconnection in ways that affect their mental, emotional, and even physical health. But we are not without tools or hope. Through collective action and community-centered initiatives, we can turn the tide. That's why programs like Move with the Mayor matter. They bring people together, promote physical and emotional wellness, and remind us that strong communities are built through movement, togetherness, and shared purpose. You can find all the information on the upcoming Move with the Mayor events on our newly uploaded webpage, upperdarby.org/MWTM. Also on the webpage are mental and physical health resources from the National Forum and ways to track your own physical activity. It is with that spirit that we present the following proclamation affirming Upper Darby's commitment to addressing loneliness and promoting health through social connection. So if you will allow me, I'd like to read the proclamation. A proclamation supporting efforts to address loneliness and isolation through social connection. Whereas loneliness and social isolation are significant health concerns in the United States, and whereas current research has found that 1/3 of American adults report feeling consistently lonely or isolated, with even higher rates among certain populations such as older adults, young adults, the LGBTQ plus community, veterans, and pregnant and postpartum women. And whereas these feelings of loneliness and isolation can increase the risks of chronic diseases, mental health disorders, and mortality, and whereas over the past decades, social and technological changes such as the rise of social media and increased work demands have impacted our ability to form meaningful connections with others. And whereas the National Forum for Heart Disease and Stroke Prevention recognizes the critical impact of loneliness and social isolation on the health and well-being of our communities, and whereas the Move with the Mayor Spring Mental Health and Physical Activity Challenge is a powerful initiative to promote physical activity while fostering social connections among our residents, directly addressing the need for stronger social bonds and improved health outcomes. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Township of Upper Darby officially supports efforts to address loneliness and isolation through social connection. And be it further proclaimed that the Upper Darby Township Council encourages all residents to actively participate in the Move with the Mayor Spring Challenge, promoting physical activity and forging meaningful social connections to strengthen our collective health and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. The next item on the agenda is the President of Council. Just want to inform councils, as we previously stated in the April meeting, our Chief Municipal Clerk are working on identification cards for council. That would be coming out of the President's budget, as this wasn't a budgeted expense from all of council, and I don't think it's fair that it's coming out of each council member's budget. We'll possibly have more committee reports on the May 21st meeting, just based on the legislation we had today. Also, there's been a lot of calls regarding the pilot permit parking program that was initiated by the previous administration. I'll talk to the CAO, and him and I talked, and he will have a presentation on the 21st, so council can see our options on how we can move this forward and how we can work in regards to parking permits. As a reminder, there's a special meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. where we will appoint the 5th District vacancy and have a public hearing and vote on the earned income tax. That concludes my reports. The next item on the agenda, it's our Chief Administrative Officer, who Ms. Rita LaRue is filling in for. Sir?
Thank you, Council President. Councilors, the first item is resolution number 625, a request of council for a motion to reconsider resolution number 625, appointing CGBAG Law as Township Solicitor, with action scheduled for council meeting on May 21st, 2025. After numerous interviews, CGBAG conducted by the CAO, department heads, Mayor Brown, and council, Mayor Brown has determined that CGBAG Law is qualified to serve as the legal officer of the township and desires to appoint their firm. The mayor and council president is requesting that CGBAG law be reconsidered for approval at the upcoming council meeting on May 21st, 2025. Councilors, you will find in your packet tonight the bids from all three law firms that were considered with their qualifications. There is a matrix comparing the fees on page 57 of your packet, and this cost proposal specific to CGBAG is on pages 93 and 94 of your packet.
Thank you. There's no further action from council. This will be placed on the May 21st agenda. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 1325, appointing Pannoni as a third-party township engineer. I do apologize because I was looking at this online. I do believe their amount that they will charge it was on page 135 on the computer.
Yes.
It should also be in your packet. There's a engagement letter as well. Ms. LaRue, is there any background that you would like to provide?
Yes, we are requesting appointing Pannoni Multidisciplinary Engineering Consulting Firm as third-party township engineer. Pannoni has already been representing Upper Darby Township as a third-party engineering firm, but has not officially been appointed by council to the position via resolution. This has caused some issues when applying for grants, as there is not sufficient official documentation signifying that they have worked for us in this capacity. This appointment does not affect the current search for an in-house township engineer, a position that was approved with the fiscal year 25 budget. There is no retainer or minimum commitment. The township is billed only for work requested.
Thank you. There's no further action required. We'll go to the next item on the agenda, resolution 1425. Ms. LaRue, before you begin, our residents who always attend every meeting and make sure we're on point. There was a question about the percentage. It said 10% and in parentheses it said 15. Is there anything you can comment on that?
Yes, thank you, Council President. We discovered this error today. There are errors in both of the resolutions before you. I can go through them when we consider each resolution. Councilors, you have what we recommend is the amended resolution before you. The municipal clerk put those two recommended amended resolutions under your blue folder.
Okay, just want to check with Solicitor Gallagher, since there's no action needed, but we will be advertising this. Do you suggest we amend now or wait until meeting on the 21st?
You don't need to advertise resolutions, only ordinances.
Excuse me, I can't hear him. Okay, I know you guys. Yeah. Can you please just keep it down? Can you make sure the mic's on?
Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need to advertise a resolution. That's only ordinances. And if you're going to use a workshop meeting and not vote, which that's certainly fine, that would be the time that you would want to work out anything that you have issue with in the resolution, so that is the final version that you have at the next meeting. And then if there's any amendment needed at that meeting, then you would have to do it formally through an amendment. So tonight, if there's anyone who wants to make some sort of amendment to a resolution, that can be done, and then we can take it back and fix it and then have it for you at the next meeting.
Okay.
It's certainly fine to do so. All right.
I would prefer to fix it now. Ms. LaRue, what are your recommendations?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In the resolution,
Yeah, let's start with 1425.
1425. First paragraph, fourth line, mitigation at Nailers Run Creek as part of, it was he, Nailers Run.
I'm sorry, can you just repeat that?
Yes, that's the fourth line of the first paragraph. It said he instead of the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have the updated one.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the fifth section, the whereas clause regarding the total cost of the project. The total cost of the project is $581,490, not $500,000. $500,000 is the amount of the grant that will be requested. The $81,490 will be a proposal to council to take that from the capital reserve.
Okay. Those are the two for resolution 1425.
And then there was one more,
The percentage.
the percentage. It should be 15% spelled out.
Okay. I'm sorry, Ms. LaRue, can you just state those real quick for us so then I can just get a motion to amend it? Or, Solicitor Gallagher, I don't need to include a motion. I can just correct it. We can just correct it, right?
Right, because it's not being advertised or anything of the sort, right?
Yeah, so both the lawyers on the dais agree, so we're just gonna correct it.
It's
Ms.
not on
LaRue,
her.
so we'll get those corrections, and then let's move forward to 1525. I'm sorry. Councilor Wentz, I apologize.
Yeah, I feel like there's a part missing in this whole equation. Um, uh, you, you no longer read the resolutions or ordinances. I know, you're so worried about time, you don't want council members to speak the full 5 minutes we get, but, other people have unlimited time to speak. So, I just wanted to clarify or get clarification, actually. The stormwater, the mitigate storm, the flood purpose of flood mitigation at Naylor's Run Creek as part of the Naylor's Run Creek West Basin at Drexel Gardens Park flood mitigation. My question is, at Drexel Gardens, there is a stormwater pipe that got cut off under Keffer's administration about 15 feet before the actual creek, and that's been flooding out a section of the park behind residents' homes. So my question is, will this resolution help, will the work that's being done in reference to this resolution help to solve that problem so that pipe actually goes all the way to the creek so that all those homes don't have to worry about being in a situation where the ground gives out underneath their homes? And so I'm just curious, is this part of that equation? Okay, great. So, and if it's not, then we need to find a way to solve that problem. Because I know the flooding, especially with all the rains that we've been getting, I keep hearing from residents that are dealing with it, and I do keep sending it in. So I just want to put that out there, So, yep, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 1525. This is for the Upper Darby Creek Multi-Purpose Bridge and Trail Extension Grant Application.
Yes.
Ms. LaRue, can you just give us a summary and the changes you would like us to make?
So 1525 would authorize the application for a grant from the Commonwealth Financing Authority for purposes of constructing a multi-purpose bridge and trail extension at Darby Creek. This is a second bridge that will connect what is currently a dead end. This is a 130 feet span bridge to extend the Darby Creek Trail, and the dead end point is about a quarter of a mile south of the Garrett Road Bishop Avenue intersection. So this total project is $1,146,155. There is a $500,000 Delco Greenways grant that has already been granted to the township. There is already $250,000 coming from the capital reserve for this project. This proposed grant is $250,000 with a 15% match. And there is another $146,155 that is required to complete the project that the administration will request council grant from capital reserve. And that will cover the 15% match of $37,500. I'd like to go through.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to correct the.
Councilor Silva, can she proceed with her corrections?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I was just, okay. Yep, absolutely.
Clarify it. So in the resolution, in the fourth whereas, the cost of the Upper Darby Creek pedestrian bridge will be $1,146,155, not $250,000.
Again, the 250,000 is the grant being requested. In the last whereas, again, it said 10% spelled out when it should say 15.
Councilor Silva, you had your hand up?
Sure. And okay. I was just curious about the location of the bridge. So you're saying the intersection of Bishop Avenue and Garrett Road, but they sort of like run into each other. So is that like basically connecting Gillespie Park? Is it supposed to go over the roadway or under the roadway, or how is that? Or is it crossing the Darby Creek to go to like the old Valley House from Gillespie Park?
So I'll have to talk to the project manager to get those specifics. I will get that tomorrow and I will send it out to council, if that's all right.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. LaRue. Councilor Nguyen?
Yes, thank you. So and I believe, as far as Councilman Silver's questions, my understanding, this is that second footbridge to go over between Gillespie Park and Swedish Cabin area zone, but where the pathway, the trail ends on the Swedish Cabin side, I think, and then it goes over the creek to the whatever's over there. It's not Gillespie Park at that point in time. I think it's something else. But when the first bridge got put in over between Gillespie Park and the Swedish Cabin, a whole lot of trees were taken out to be able to get the machinery in, to be able to put the bridge in, and then there was no funds set aside to replant those trees. So I just want to make sure, because this is a wooded area, that we have that included in the budget for this plan, because then we're going to run into the same problem. And putting in this footbridge is a great idea and it helps the trail and it'll be a positive thing. But if you have a barren wasteland at the end on either side of that bridge, and no trees and no, flood mitigation going on, then we're going to have a problem.
I'm working with the tree tenders to address that.
Okay, but the tree tenders are a separate group and the township has to provide funds to do that.
Now, I know, I'm aware.
Okay,
We're
I just
aware of
want
the issue, so I'm working with them to make sure we have that covered, okay?
But we do have the Shade Tree Commission that is a township ordinance certified, ordinance commission. So they should be part of that conversation,
They
not
are.
just the tree tenders.
They are.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that's part of the equation because it got missed last time around and I don't want it to be missed this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Wentz. Thank you, Ms. LaRue.
Thank you.
The CA's report. The next item on the agenda is an introduction to approve the appointment of the 5th District Council member, which will be the vacancy will be voted on tomorrow. The next item on the agenda following that is committee reports.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
wait.
All right, do you
Go
guys have
back.
comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I know previously we had extended this deadline. I think this was supposed to be voted at the second meeting in April. I think we said the 21st, but I understand the 45-day deadline that was emailed today by the solicitor. So it has to be before the 15th. Can I ask how the date of May 8th was selected?
So it's just, we had a special meeting already scheduled that was brought forward. And then, which, I'm sorry, do I have the floor? Okay. Yeah, so there was a special meeting and to fill the 45-day vacancy, instead of having another meeting, I just thought we could add it to the special meeting. I was not aware of people's absences, or I was not aware of that. So I was just like, oh, okay, we can't do this the 21st, like I stated in the meeting.
Right.
So we'll have to be within the 45-day window.
Right. All right. I mean, understood the logistical aspect and the convenience of doing it the same day that we already had a special meeting. That being said, I did communicate to you that I have a prior commitment tomorrow, so I'm unavailable to attend. I believe Councilwoman Wagner also does as well. And given that this is a vacancy on council that we're filling, I think it would be important that all council members are present for that vote. So I understand it's probably not what anybody wants to have another meeting, but I think it would be important that we have everybody present for when this vote takes.
Yeah, but then what happens with two other people can't make those dates, right?
Well, I understand, but I think that there should be communication beforehand saying that this is when we plan to do it, not just put it on the agenda and say this is when we're doing it. I get that, and I understand we've limited runway now,
Yeah.
but the communication should be done first.
I understand your perspective. I stated that about the plumbers as well. But what I would just say, we're within the time frame. I think we should keep this on the agenda tomorrow and move forward. That's just my honest.
Respectfully,
I
I
was
disagree.
not aware that I didn't ask anybody for their attendance, and even the previous president never contacted me about.
That's fine. I understand that's been the
I'm-
past practice, but
Yeah.
I'm just asking moving forward. If
Yeah, moving forward, we can do that.
Great.
But for tomorrow, we're voting on it.
Thank you.
Councilor Wentz?
Thank you. So I do agree with Councilman Andrusko. Basic communication. I know when I was president of council, I did reach out to council members when we were having special meetings. I gave you a variety of dates and said, hey, which one would be best? There wasn't always an opportunity for all council members to be present, but everyone was considered and their time, and they were asked ahead of time. That's what I did. I'm just speaking from just my personal experience, right? My concern with this is that 5 applicants applied, 2 got a rejection email, but my understanding is they were rejected but at the time, only 4 council members had weighed in. So there wasn't a majority of council that had weighed in on who would be those interviewed. So that's a concern because everything in the Home Rule Charter talks about the majority of council. But a decision of who was going to be interviewed was based on 4 council members, which is too short of majority of council. Second concern I have is that my understanding that the 2 people who got rejected, who did not get an interview, who we are now considering, never got an email letting them know they're being considered. There was no communication from you, President Tunis, to those individuals letting them know. I told them, not realizing I was the first one to tell them. That's a problem. That's a real huge gap in communication. I do find it concerning that 2 of our council members won't be present to weigh in on this. And the fact that for such a important special meeting that no one was asked on council if we were available on the 8th for earned income tax or for 5th District Council. I do believe, Mayor, at your first speech as mayor, you talked about how transparent you were going to be. And this is an example of not transparency because I was, and I may be mistaken, but I was told that the date of the 8th was selected by you. But we as council members are the ones that have to be here to approve it. But if we're not even considered in the date that works best for us, then how is that transparent?
Well, I think it's important to have at least me or the CEO here to have, when we're voting on things and having very important initiatives being considered. He's not here. He's on vacation. He's going to be away next week. I'm going to be away next week. I think he's coming back the 20, right before the tour. Huh? He's coming back the 20th, so he'll be here for the 21st. There's no other opportunity to have a meeting, and I don't know how prudent it would be if he or I are not in the meeting. How would that look? Something important that we're voting on, and neither he or I are in the room.
I wasn't asking for you to not be there, but
No, I'm saying I wouldn't be able to be here. That's the available date. That's the date that I chose, that I would be at least be here to represent administration and along with Rita. There's no other date other than the 21st is the next.
But it doesn't have to be on a Wednesday. It doesn't have to be at night. We've had council meetings at 8 o'clock in the morning on December 31st one year because we hadn't passed the budget or actually we hadn't passed the tax levy. So council meetings can happen at any time. I feel, and I know it's a Thursday.
I don't think there's a perfect date where everybody's going to be available.
I
mean, when you're trying to coordinate with not just 11 people, really 13, 14 people,
right?
Really hard to do that. So we have to pick a date and hope for the best. Because if we moved it to another date, then 2 other people won't be available, and they're going to be upset. So that
But you didn't even give us the chance. You didn't send us an email with, "Hey, this is our situation. We need to have a special meeting. These are our options." We weren't even given any notification. So I think it comes back to the communication. The
I
transparency
hear
is
you.
part of the
I mean,
communication.
I don't send it out. I don't send out the communications, but I understand your
But you
point.
could.
I addressed, Brian and Drusco when he texted me. I text him. I responded to him. So that's the date we picked. I'm sorry. So
Okay.
I think he already committed to doing something different moving forward. To consider you or to let you weigh in when we have to have something out of the norm. So I think that's what we can do moving forward. But
That would be
we will
great.
have a meeting tomorrow. But I appreciate your concern.
Thank you.
Councilor Silva?
Yeah, it's always been my understanding that special meetings were like limited in scope and usually confined by one topic. And in this instance, these are like two very different important topics that we are including in one special meeting now. So would it be more prudent to schedule another special meeting for the other important topic since there is the May 15th deadline?
Solicitor Gallagher's in regards to Councilor Silva comments about the special meeting.
Well, before he weighs in, I don't see the value in having two separate meetings just because we have two things on the agenda. If we had the people that are here are the ones that will vote on it and address it. Why have yet another meeting and have an individual topic on a special meeting? I don't think I'll let him talk about the fact if we're limited to have one topic on a special meeting. I don't think that's the requirement, but I'll let him speak to that.
Solicitor Gallagher?
There's nothing in the charter that says you have to have a limited number of items. Oh, it's on. I guess I'm just going to have to speak louder.
Just
So, let me know if I fade out. The charter doesn't say anything about how many items you can have for a special meeting. The requirement is that your notice identifies the items that are going to be on it. If council wants to limit it themselves, that's certainly fine, but the charter doesn't provide any limitation, and it doesn't also say that it has to be, one subject or anything of that nature.
Am I confusing it with emergency meeting?
I mean, this isn't an emergency meeting, but that would be different. Yes, that would be one where you don't need notice. You'd have to, obviously publish notice afterwards, but that would be like within a 24-hour period. This would not be an emergency meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, those would be two different things. And I certainly would not consider tomorrow's meeting an emergency one.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any further comments? I'm just going to ask council members if we're okay with adjourning after the last committee report. Is everyone okay with that? Okay.
And I'm going
Phillips.
to be brief.
Okay, so we'll have to take a vote, right? Because people are telling it. So, Solicitor, I'm just trying to appeal to what council members are telling me, right? Yeah. Solicitor Gallagher, am I okay to take a vote to end the meeting after the committee reports? Is that a motion I can make to take?
If the council wants to adjourn, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we can.
All right. Is there a motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting after the Community Engagement Committee reports?
Take the motion.
Motion made by Councilor Brannis.
I'll second.
Seconded, Councilor Blackwell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me, I oppose.
All right, so it passes. The next item on the agenda is the committee reports, and then we will conclude the meeting. Secretary, Bill, you have the floor. Come on.
So I just have one thing to say. Just remind everybody that May 17th at Observatory Park is the Community Engagement Committee's and annual mental health awareness forum. It's going to be plenty of vendors there and food. Free food is always a good thing. So we'll see you on May 17th.
Thank you, Secretary Billups. Is there a motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting?
I make the motion.
Motion made by Councilor Wagner, seconded by Secretary Billups. All in favor?
I'm a nay.